Yes. Hello, my beautiful friends. What an amazing day it is today. And welcome back. I hope your weekend was outstanding, and I hope all the tubes are working today because we've got some business to attend to today. We've got an illegal purse thief who has been charged. We saw he was arrested. Now he has been charged, and we're going to go through the documents. There are pictures inside. We're going to see what happened, and it looks like they've got the number 2 co-conspirator as well. Just picked up that dude as well. So we'll go through that. We'll see what's happening there. We then have a bar complaint that went over to Tishville. And we've got impeachment articles that have been filed against Trump. And it's a beautiful day, my friends. Very glad that you're with us here. I hope that your weekend was outstanding and you're coming back restored, rejuvenated, and ready to go. We also were keeping our eye on this. I was kind of trying to see if this was going to happen or not. But we thought that the president was going to be out today with some executive orders being signed. And I know it said closed press. I know. But it says that a lot. And so we were expecting him to be live right now. But he's not. So if he does come live or if something changes, if they emerge and there's activity, do me a favor, scream at me in the chat and we'll come back over to that. But we'll just jump into the business on the day because we've got charges now. So let's just get right into it, shall we? Busted! The purse thief who took Kristi Noem's purse at dinner on Easter Sunday, the day of our Lord and Savior's resurrection, has now been caught. You see, this is the statement of facts that was submitted in the DC District Court in front of Maxila Upadhyay. And we're going to see what happened with this one because there are photographs inside of Kristi Noem's purse being seized, stolen away from her by somebody who is an illegal alien. And the number 2, remember there were 2 people who were caught up in this or now getting caught. The other individual was also caught and he apparently was ordered for expedited removal. But Joe Biden let him into the country so he could continue to, I guess, rob women's purses with his co-conspirators. But we'll go through all of it. The announcement came out over from the U.S. Attorney in D.C. Shout out to Ed Martin saying busted. The alleged purse thief has now been charged with robbery, aggravated identity theft, since you know it's Homeland Security, and wire fraud because he took that credit card and then started to use it. I don't know if he was buying pupusas or what. But definitely got announced by the Department of Justice today, Monday, April 28th, telling us Mario Bustamante Leiva, who is a 49-year-old Chilean national who was in the United States illegally, and he stole the Department of Homeland Security's purse, secretary's purse, was arrested on April 26th over the weekend on a criminal complaint charging 4 things: wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, robbery, 3 things, as I said, and in connection with 3 purse snatchings in the district and unauthorized use of credit cards. Wow, so maybe not just Kristi's. The charges were announced by Ed Martin in conjunction with the Secret Service. Initial appearance in the DC Circuit District Court is pending. And he was wow, so this guy already had an unrelated fugitive warrant out. So he was in the Superior Court, so the city court, for fugitive warrants from other places. And ICE has now gotten a detainer against him. So according to court documents, we'll read through it. But we had other victims. So it's not just Kristi Noem. We had, of course, Kristi Noem, and we had another one on April 17th and another one on April 20th. So this guy's just snatching purses all over the place. So they made this announcement. Of course, we have the new criminal statement of facts that has been filed against this person, and here is what is inside. The purse thief arrested and charged. Here's the statement of facts, presumably coming in from Metro PD, Secret Service, and others. Here's what they tell us. All right. The following statement of facts is submitted in support of a criminal complaint charging the illegal purse snatcher Mario with violations of the U.S. Code, wire fraud, we got robbery in here, ag ID, and more. Saying, as described below, there's probable cause to believe he committed 3 robberies. We got April 12th, between that date and April 20th. And following the robbery, he made fraudulent purchases using the credit cards of each victim. Now, as we go on, it tells us that Mario was placed under arrest by members of the Metro PD and the United States Secret Service, saying they were going to describe the 3 robbery offenses in order as they were investigated. So let's see which one is which. Now, on April 17th, MPD officers first responded to Washington, D.C., 999 9th Street and Northwest. What a great name. Says for the report of a theft. Victim 1 reported that while she was having dinner, an unknown suspect, accordingly Mario, stole her purse while it was hanging on the back of her chair. The bag contained credit cards and other IDs. Also advised law enforcement that someone tried to use her Amex at a Safeway. She filed a report. Her driver's license had been stolen, but did not have an interest in seeing an arrest made. Wow. So this person's like, well, whatever. They probably needed it more than I did. So someone stole her purse on the back of the chair. This person didn't care. Victim 1 did not have an interest in seeing an arrest made or further investigation conducted. Was it like Senator Van Hollen? Was he the victim who had his purse stolen? He's like, that's okay. I want to go have a margarita with them. Not a big deal. I don't know. He didn't care too much. All right, so he's cool with that. On Tuesday, April 22nd, another officer called Anthony Perlman reviewed footage from the Westin Hotel. Victim 1 was dining when her purse was stolen. Officer Perlman also conducted a follow-up interview with the first victim, number 1. Perlman determined that on April 17th, 2 unauthorized transactions were made using the first Amex at the Safeway. First transaction, 935, 1212, to see if it works. Second transaction, oh, boom, right? 407.95. Oh, it worked. Okay, great. So let's go load up the cart. Perfect, it worked. Let's just run it again. $407. Officer Perlman reviewed checkout transaction records from Safeway and determined that the 1212 charge was for a bottle of Josh Cabernet Sauvignon wine. Wow. And the 407 charge was for an Amex gift card, right? So use her credit card to then get a clean credit card and then take that. Now, your affiant is aware that the activation of and transactions of an Amex gift card are processed by Incom Payments. Now, all activations on Incom products are in servers in Atlanta, Georgia. Boom. Wire fraud. Now, Officer Perlman obtained surveillance footage from the Westin Hotel for the evening of April 17th. That surveillance captured Mario, the purse thief, walk across the lobby into the dining area at approximately 9:15 p.m. In the video, Mario appeared short and was wearing a hat, a black coat with a logo on the left sleeve, and a pronounced white collar on the left side of the neck, black pants, and sneakers with what happened to be a Nike logo on the side. Now, Mario, the thief, allegedly, was wearing a black backpack and was holding more clothing in his left arm. Here he comes in the door. Looking very sneaky and suspicious already. So comes barreling through that door with the hat on. You see very grainy photos. It's interesting. We live in, the year 2025, and still the cameras look like they're from like 1982. But anyways, they say Bustamante walked behind victim 1, who was eating dinner with her family. In the video, same thing. Purse is visible hanging on the back of her chair. Now, Mario approached the kitchen area. He stood there for a few minutes holding a coat in his left arm, as you see right there. Very sneaky, Mario. Here's another one. Oh, he's got his mark. He's got his little COVID mask on. And all the liberals are like, well, he's just protecting himself from a virus. So then this woman is seated here. And all of a sudden, that purse that she thinks is nice and protected gets snatched up. At approximately 9:18 p.m., Mario walked behind victim number 1 as she was just seated there. And as he did so, his left arm, which was covered with a coat, brushed over her chair, swooped it right up. As Mario walked past the chair, the purse that had been attached to her chair was gone like a magician. It's gone. He proceeded to exit the Westin at 9:20 p.m. right out the door. Gone with the wind. Nobody could see where he went. Now he's gone. There it is. It's a me. Look, it's gone. Purse gone immediately. And she's just sitting there eating her dinner like a nice person, being attacked and having her property stolen without her notice. Now, Bustamante then walked past victim one, and then it was no longer there. So then Officer Perlman went over to Safeway, said, all right, this dude just bought an Amex here. Said, I'd like to get the security footage because an Amex that was stolen was used here 15 minutes after the theft of her purse. So we're recreating the timeline. Perlman said, I want that video that corresponds with this transaction of that $400 Amex gift card. So the surveillance footage that Safeway captured got the guy, Mario, entering the Safeway. There are two camera angles that cover the entrance of the Safeway, a side angle and a front-facing angle. The side angle camera captured Bustamante entering the Safeway wearing the same clothing that he had at the Westin. Black coat, white on the collar, logo on the left arm, as well as a coat hanging over his left arm. Now, the front-facing camera captured Mario wearing what appeared to be a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton hat. Isn't that nice? Probably stolen too. And a black medical mask. There he is. Wow. Just having a field day in America. He's like, I'm illegal. No one knows anything about me. Just stealing whatever I want, buying Gucci hats. Life's amazing. So Officer Perlman then reviewed the surveillance footage. This guy went out checkout lane, 9:33 p.m. He purchased a bottle of Josh Cabernet wine. He's going to go celebrate his theft. Used her credit card. Now, this purchase matched the transaction receipt that Safeway gave to him. So he was initially appeared to look like he was having difficulty making this purchase, but ultimately the transaction was approved. It's like, what's the zip code on this? I ran it as debit. Dang it, I don't know. Let me just run it as credit. Credit goes through. Perfect. So then he went to an unmanned registered and waited in line to purchase the gift card. At 9:45, he then successfully purchased the gift card. That was the big one. And then left the Safeway northbound at 9:47. It's going to come back to this because that gift card, 3742, the one that he purchased, right, converted those funds, was not activated or used, but he definitely purchased it. And in order to purchase that and activate it, right, that's transferring data across state lines. So then you see, there it is, Mario, trying to get a little sauced up there by a little bottle of wine after his victory on the night. 12-12, little Josh Cabernet Sauvignon. 9:35, he used the credit card. Here's another angle on the camera. Looking down, same Gucci hat, matches the same face that we saw previously. So then we got Metro PD. They're canvassing for video to try to figure out where this dude went. Going, up the street, down the street. Where was he observed? Now, while doing so, we got additional surveillance footage captured of this dude wearing a pair of camouflage pattern shoes, and we learned of additional incidents associated with this investigation. Law enforcement then determined that prior to Mario stealing number one and her purse, he appeared to have committed a similar theft at a coffee shop called Dolcezza. Sounds expensive. Surveillance video provided to the MPD Metro Police in Washington, D.C. and by the Mint Police captured Mario near the coffee shop from earlier the evening on April 17th. Now, Perlman then recovered additional surveillance video from the coffee shop that captured him again standing in line, 8:47. In that video, he appears to be wearing the same clothing he wore during the theft at the Westin and while he was making fraudulent purchases at the Safeway using another Amex card, right? So same outfit, following the dude. Here he is again. Looks like we're looking through a piece of glass or something. We got some reverse text right there. It kind of obscures some what we're looking at. Bunch of faces blocked out, but they followed the dude. A zoomed in still image of Bustamante, Mario, standing in line near the coffee shop near a group of customers. So he's waiting. Now he's going to get some caffeine for his next heist. While standing in line at the coffee shop, Mario positioned himself so that he was standing next to a group of customers who were seated at an outdoor table. You saw it probably before I did, didn't you? Look at that big, fat, juicy purse right there. Oh, baby. That's a good one. Mario is getting excited. So he takes a look at something. He says, while standing near the table, Bustamante used his left leg to pull a tan shoulder bag towards him. I think he did the same leg move with Kristi, which we're going to find out about in a minute. The leg move. We were making fun of this on Locals this morning and on our Membo stream this morning. Wow. So he 2 for 2 with the leg move. We all know the leg move. That's how you steal that thing from your sibling. Just they're kind of asleep, kind of just nudge that over. Give me that. Now, Mario then proceeded to lean down and take a rectangular item from the shoulder bag. The rectangular item appeared consistent with the shape and the size of a wallet or purse. Great. So then Mario then left the coffee shop, probably to go back to his barber shop where he was going to do makeup and plant food for all of us to eat, and appeared to look at the menu before exiting the shop and walking towards the west. And he's like, since I just stole this nice woman's purse, wallet, how about I just go buy myself a dinner now? The Westin is approximately one block away from the coffee shop. Yeah, so then he takes it, right? Stole someone else's private property and then just walks down like it ain't nothing. A zoomed in still image of Mario reaching down into a customer's shoulder bag to remove what appears to be a purse or wallet. And thieves are just disgusting. Don't they just make you just So then this is him leaving the coffee shop and he's stealing from, it looks, just innocent people. So then he goes from the Westin, here's the coffee shop. And if you're familiar with DC, maybe this looks familiar to you. Little yard house over there. All right. So then he walks from the coffee shop, walks over down here to the Westin, just ripping off ladies. Now, on or about April 21st, something else happens. U.S. Secret Service disseminated a bolo. Be on the lookout for MPD depicting the suspect involved in the April 20th robbery. Here it is. Yeah, be on the lookout. Flyer was disseminated early in the investigation by using figure 20 or a close likeness of it. So then they went back up here. They got figure 20. We'll come back down to that. And they shared that everywhere. In response, a police officer with Metro PD made an ID of the suspect, providing a name and date of birth. Like, oh, I know that dude. That individual's information is known to law enforcement and is available to the court should it be necessary. Now, others were able to determine through the Justice portal that this individual was in custody at the time of the offense, awaiting a mental competency hearing as well of the suspect. So that was maybe another ID. So maybe they're just noting this. And okay, that individual who made the ID was in custody. Yeah. Okay, so this is a little bit confusing. So maybe the person who made the ID and is connecting the dots, we'll have to read that a little bit more closely, but is in mental competency hearings, not this person. All right, so we continue. Now, in response to the be on the lookout, Officer Perlman contacted the Secret Service with an ID of the suspect, right? So then they send the bolo, someone makes this note. Yeah, so the person who made the ID is in mental competency hearing. So like, well, maybe that person is not a great source to ID this dude because he's not all that well. So just on the notice, Judge, right? This ID might be questionable. But Officer Perlman has also provided information that appeared to connect the April 20th robbery to a series of offenses that had occurred in D.C. That's number one, right? So somebody else kind of fingered this dude. Officer Perlman then and Detective David Gargak, what's up, David, shared their investigation with the Secret Service in a joint effort to locate and apprehend Mario. So then to be on the lookout for the suspect in the April 20th Capitol Burger robbery. That was the Kristi gnome theft when she was there on Easter Sunday of all days with her family. Depicted a short white male, possibly Asian or Hispanic, wearing a black coat with white fur on the collar, gray pants, an unknown brand hat, unknown brand sneakers. Now, the bolo images of Mario in the checkout line appeared to show Mario wearing the same coat. Now, as part of this investigation, so like the hat's different, it's not the same Gucci hat, not the same sneakers, but the coat looks the same. Now, as part of this investigation, law enforcement went to homeless shelters and service centers in close proximity to the Safeway. An employee at a nearby community services center recognized this individual in the bolo from surveillance video of a theft that had occurred at a Nando's several days later. Okay, so this dude is just ripping off everybody everywhere. Perlman contacted Nando's to what happened to you guys? Yeah, that dude. Is this guy? Yeah, it's him. On Saturday, April 12th at 8:30 p.m., victim number 2 then reported another crime, saying her purse had been taken from the back of her chair while she was dining at the Nando's restaurant located in Washington, D.C. Law enforcement recovered surveillance video from the Nando's that captured Mario stealthily removing victim number two's purse from the back of her chair and exiting the Nando's. During this offense, Mario appeared to be acting in concert with illegal number two, suspect number two. Now, victim number two provided law enforcement with transaction records from her debit and credit cards that were stolen from her purse. And we have a note down here, but we're kind of missing a footnote. As a result, law enforcement have been able to exclude him as having participated in the events above. But I don't really know what that's reference. Oh, up here. Okay. Your affiant and others were able to determine he was in custody and he's not a part of it, right? So he's in custody. And so he's the guy who ID'd him did not participate. He's currently in custody, but he's also in mental competency proceedings. All right, so that was from the prior footnote. Now, those records indicate that in an unauthorized transaction, victim number two had her credit card stolen and used. So then we got surveillance footage. Oh, look who it is. Video back from Nando's exterior. They captured Mario and suspect number two as they walked past the establishment. It was 8:30 p.m. They paused outside for several seconds. They looked through the front window. They're like, any purses in there that are ripe for our snatching? Suspect number two entered Nando's while Bustamante removed his jacket and draped it over his left arm. Oh, he's getting ready to do the old scam, Mario. So then he placed the jacket similar to how he carried his jacket during the April 17th robbery. He's got this nice little scam going. Additionally, the jacket worn by him appeared to be the same jacket. Well, of course it is. It's like he's just snatching all these purses. Like, this is my lucky little robbery jacket. He's crushing it. So circled in red, there he is, taking his jacket off, puts his backpack down, and saying, okay, perfect. I don't know, maybe a whole backpack full of purses in there, this dude. Once inside Nando's, suspect number two and Mario approached the table where victim number two was seated and stood by. Suspect number two appeared to position himself to block the back of the chair from view. Yeah, so it's a little duo. So he's blocking the cameras while he comes in and snatches it off. Mario continued to move closer to victim two and grabbed victim number two's purse while simultaneously using his jacket to conceal the purse, and then they departed the Nando's. Total scum. So some nice lady sitting there. These two illegal aliens who invaded our country are just robbing people blind. So then after leaving Nando's, these two barbershops and farm workers people traveled to Safeway in a different place. So then they entered Safeway again and committed more fraud. Suspect number two purchased a $500 Visa gift card, once again using victim number two's credit card, saying that had been stolen about half an hour prior. Now, surveillance captured these two departing the Safeway at 8:11 p.m. Suspect number two also entered the Safeway just a few minutes later. This officer stating, I'm aware that the activation and the transactions of the Visa gift cards are also done by in-com payments. And guess what? Those are in Atlanta, Georgia as well. And we got more photos. So here's this one saying Officer Perlman got the transaction codes for the Visa gift card, which revealed a phone number used to check the balance of the gift card. Oh, the records also documented approximately $462 worth of charges. So they call in, they're like, is there any more of our stolen funds that we got here? Because they're doing a startup for a farming business to be entrepreneurs in America. These records and the investigation were shared with the Secret Service. Like, oh, they're calling from this number now. You guys might want to check this number. They were investigating the robbery at Capitol Burger. During a review of which is Kristi Noem's theft. During a review of these transaction records, law enforcement observed another transaction for a hotel stay at the Motel 6. Oh, we're getting hot, baby. So April 12th, like, oh man, this is great. We're having tons of fun. They're all taking siestas, having margaritas with the Democrats. They invited Chris Van Hollen over there to come hang out with Mazi Hirono. They're having mojitos and just enjoying themselves. So like, let's stay at a Motel 6. Let's just take the load off. So then there was another April 14th transaction at the Quality Inn and another one at a 7-Eleven, traveling all over the place. Additionally, numerous charges were made at a metro station and more. So then Officer Perlman, who's like hot on the scent now, he's like, oh, perfect, they're using it. Got Metro PD investigators who flagged smart trip cards the suspect added money to using the fraudulently purchased gift cards, which is, that now they're traveling around with their stolen cards and just scanning it and the metro. Oh, let's go over here. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. Like, oh, perfect. Well, oh, thanks for telling us. So then Metro provided clear images of Mario and the suspect, both without face masks, because they're not doing any robbing that day, so they don't need to worry about killing grandma with their N95s. On April 15th, when they were going to the King Street Metro. Now, these images are from surveillance video that captured Mario and suspect number 2 after they used the Visa gift card that was purchased using the stolen credit card. Here are these two. Wow. In one of these images provided by the Metro Transport PD, Mario is carrying a black jacket with a white collar that appears to be identical to the jacket that he wore during the 12th, 17th, and 20th offenses. Okay. And these two must have just been doing this for, like hundreds. You got to imagine hundreds, maybe thousands of this stuff going on. Just enjoying themselves, just ripping off everybody. Sick. Now, then they also provided MPD personnel with his last movements related to the smart card. Like, oh, well, this is the last he just got off over here. The transaction showed Bustamante enter DuPont Circle Metro Station and exit at Silver Springs about 30 minutes later. In the video from the Silver Springs station, Mario is wearing a navy collared shirt, camouflage sneakers. The camouflage sneakers appear to match the sneakers that he was wearing during the other offense at the Westin Hotel, where he stole that other woman's stuff. And so you've got, that's this is Mario, right? So this is the jacket that he continues to drape over himself. These are very, I would say, conspicuous sneakers. They kind of stand out. You can see here's more camouflage. There's the camouflage. Puts the face mask back on. Probably going to go steal some more stuff. You're like, I'm going to go steal some stuff today. Went to Whole Foods. Probably maybe stole all that. Who knows? But Metro PD then and members, they conducted follow-up canvasses to other locations linked to the Visa gift card transaction. So they said, okay, got this dude's whole, laundry list of where this guy's been. They go to Motel 6. They see everything that happened in there after Adam Schiff and Van Hollen and Mazi Hirono got out of there. They're like, oh, gosh, we're going to have to call Homeland Security, get the biohazmat team out here. So then law enforcement received information from Motel 6 reservations. They decided to just burn the whole building down and payment systems. And so they found out, in seriousness though, that they did use suspect number 2, the $500 Visa gift card, to pay for a room through booking.com. And suspect number 2 provided his name for the reservation. Now, no camera footage of the Motel 6 stay was available. Yeah, they don't have cameras at those places. I don't want cameras there. No, we don't have any cameras. Officer Perlman, are you crazy? Conducted a law enforcement database search, which revealed a recent pawn transaction. Wow, conducted by suspect number 2 in Maryland. The pawn search and follow-up provided a New York City ID card and phone number for suspect 2. We're hot on the case. The latter of which is different than the phone number associated with the booking.com reservation. All right, let's see where this goes. Now, later that same evening, law enforcement received information from Quality Inn as to particular details of the transactions involving the Visa card between April 14th and April 16th. Now, as part of the booking and the check-in process at Quality Inn, the customer was required to provide ID. At the time of the booking, suspect number 2 again provided the same name that he gave to Motel 6. Quality Inn front desk staff reported to law enforcement that Mario and number 2 were together at the time of their check-in. When number 2 checked in at the Quality Inn, he was required to provide a payment method and ID. So suspect number 2 provided the fraudulently obtained Visa gift card for payment and a counterfeit California ID card in his name, the former being recovered during a ladder search of Mario's room that he was occupying at the time of his April 26th arrest. So here's some more photos. So vanillagift.com, they buy that. That's the Visa gift debit card. And then Mario looks like looks like a fake number 2, right? So suspect number 2, they don't give us his name yet. So law enforcement obtained surveillance videos from Quality Inn. They got Mario inside the lobby and the same dude who looks like number 2 with Mario outside the hotel. So Metro PD and Secret Service, then they speak with Quality Inn staff. They say, did you guys talk to this guy? Yeah, we did. Well, what? Didn't notice anything about him? Well, yeah, there was an incident, actually. Mario got into a verbal altercation with the shift manager over his refusal to return to his assigned room after being asked to do so when he was intoxicated. So this guy's hammered drunk, stole some lady's credit card multiple times, goes into Safeway, buys a bottle of wine, sloshes it back. Now he's committing disorderly conduct in the middle of a hotel scene. Go back to your room. He doesn't know where he is. The staff member was interviewed, but did not recall the exact time that he checked out, but he did leave behind a black Samsung cell phone that was recovered by the staff. Wow. So this drunk illegal alien thief is leaving behind his cell phones because what does he care? He's going to go steal someone else's. Not a big deal. So they recovered it. Secret Service got that. Now that's evidence. Oops. So then Metro PD also got surveillance footage of the 7-Eleven. Now this 7-Eleven and the Quality Inn, they're about 600 feet apart right down the corner. Law enforcement determined that the Visa gift card, which was stolen, that had been purchased using the credit card, had been used at 6:30 p.m. Surveillance footage, again, captured Mario in the store. In that video, Mario is wearing what appears to be the same black coat with a white collar and camouflage sneakers that he wore in the prior robbery. So same dude, same outfit. Now, in the evening hours of April 20th, an individual, here we go, under the protection of the United States Secret Service, hereinafter called Victim 3, aka a Kristi Gnome, was dining at the Capitol Burger restaurant located in Washington, D.C. Now, while at that restaurant, Victim 3, Kristi Gnome, noticed that her purse that she had placed at her feet was now missing, okay, under the table next to my feet. Kristi Gnome. Victim 3 alerted her Secret Service detail, who in turn ultimately alerted the Secret Service Washington field office. Now, Kristi Gnome then provided an itemized list of the property that was stolen from her purse, including several personal credit cards, her U.S. government personal ID verification card. Members of the Uniform Division of the Secret Service then classified the offense as robbery stealth and prepared a police report describing the general circumstances of the offense. Now, let's see what kind of details we get here. But the U.S. Washington Field Office, Secret Service, and other personnel reviewed and obtained video from the Capitol Burger. Now, in relevant part, Mario entered the business at 7:52 p.m. He sat at a table within arm's reach of Kristi Gnome, which is just wild to me. Like, did he have a reservation? Did he sit and was he going to like order something? Was he seated? Or he just walked in? And like the hostess, nobody's like, who is this dude just walking in here? Strange. And just sat down at a table. So any person from like from society can just walk in and sit next to one of the most powerful people in the world. Our Secret Service, man, I don't know what they're doing. We were joking this morning that maybe the floors in there were sloped and they didn't know what to do or where to stand. But Bustamante sat down in the chair closest to Kristi Gnome and pushed the chair back from his table, one of these moves, in the direction of Kristi Gnome. He's doing one of these in an effort to get closer to her belongings. Yeah. Then the suspect looked down, likely in the direction of her purse. Oh. Then there's a child running around in the corner, milling around nearby. CCTV footage from the Capitol Burger captured the victim's purse, Kristi Gnome's purse, at her feet at the base of the chair, so it's down there, and in the immediate possession of her. Okay, it's right tucked by her feet. So then Mario, right there it is. Wow, look at that. Okay, so here's what we got. We got a scene here. There's Mario. He's like reading a book, probably studying for his PhD so he can contribute to America and improve our nation and our society and our culture. Yeah. So then Kristi Gnome is seated over here with her family, trying to protect America and celebrate Easter. This dude is here studying. Seconds later, Bustamante Mario, the scholar, twisted his body left towards Gnome's purse and just moved his left leg. You know that move, that leg move I talked about earlier. Like when you need the remote, usually you're not stealing somebody's purse. Sometimes you're, irritating your younger brother or whatever. But most of the time, like you use the leg move, like we've all done it, but it's to get the remote. You just want to like just nudge that remote over. God, gosh, it's over there. And you get it and you catch it like, yeah. Gold medal Olympian right here. So it's the same thing. We're all familiar with it. He moved his leg. And I don't know, apparently Homeland Security, Secret Service are not familiar with the leg move. I've been familiar with it since I'm like 3 years old, but they also had troubles on roofs. Anyway, simultaneous to that movement, an object determined to be victim three's purse was seen moving out of camera view and in the direction of Mario. The video then captured the suspect bend down with his jacket in one hand and with his other hand picked up an object from the floor that law enforcement determined to be the purse. The entirety of the reference video is in possession of the Secret Service. So that's it. It was just a leg move. That's all. Okay. So, Secret Service has trouble with sloped roofs and legs. You're going to need some more leg training. Here's a close-up shot. Here's the victim's purse. Nobody else. This is the weirdest stuff, man. There's nobody else in the room. This guy just walks in and sits down like there's nobody at that table. Why is that guy sitting at the table? I'm sure the Secret Service was like, giving them their space because it's Easter, whatever. This dude comes in. He starts eyeballing Kristi Noem. He's at a table. There's nobody else there. Obviously suspicious as hell. And he just does one of these? Does one of these moves over here to get it? Are you kidding me? We're in big trouble, man. If they can have, like 17-year-old kids shoot presidential candidates in the head and Secret Service can't protect a purse from being legs swept out from under a table, we're in big trouble. There it is. He got it. There it is. Purse gone. Incredible. He's off with the win. He's like Jason Bourne. He's like 007, Mission Impossible. Ethan Hunt just came in here, like dangled from the rooftop and stole the purse with a leg sweep. So Bustamante Mario then got up from his seat and exited. He's like, oh, perfect, just stole it. And Homeland and Secret Service are all just sitting around, I guess, waiting for their hors d'oeuvres to get there. Then he exited the business. Nobody asked any questions about what some random dude was coming in doing. And Mario appeared on video to be an older, lighter-skinned male, medium to heavy-set build, wearing a dark-colored jacket with a thick white collar and a white emblem on the left arm. He also had a white COVID-style mask, a dark-colored hat with the square-shaped logo on the front of it. A photo of Mario was shared with law enforcement. They got this dude. He's coming in just like, that's a good snatch, too, by the way. Like on the back of the chair, that's pretty amateur. You kind of just, okay, it's on the back of the chair. Just put something over your arm. It's not the crime of the century. You got it. But doing a leg sweep in the middle of an empty restaurant, it's pretty bold. So they got it. During the course of the investigation, Secret Service personnel conducted an extensive canvas for video that would have captured Mario's travel both before the robbery and after the robbery of Kristi Noem. Now, this section contains information learned by the Secret Service personnel as to the suspect's travel before the offense. So where'd this guy come from, right? They definitely put all eyes on this dude. Here's what they wrote. Law enforcement determined that Mario arrived in the immediate area of the offense by taking a bus operated by Washington Metro. Now, it was determined that an individual consistent in description to Mario boarded the bus at this location at 7:38. Prior to getting on the bus, Mario was observed 1 block north of the bus stop. They got footage of that, and they got him with clarity. So that photo's a much higher resolution photo without obstruction. It was immediately apparent to investigators upon being provided this image that this guy was Mario. They said, yep, based on the clothing, physical characteristics, this was the guy who robbed Kristi Noem. Like everybody knows, that got him. Yep. They've been looking at this dude for a while, got him. So then he took the bus towards another area, exiting a short time later. They got him on this corner right near the convention center. He's leaving the bus at 7:44 p.m. Now, the video footage captured a medium to heavy set built male wearing a dark colored jacket with a thick white collar, jeans, white style COVID mask, dark style colored hat with the square logo on the front of it. Boom, there it is. Coming on or off the bus. I think off the bus. Here's another one with the collar. You see the collar right there. You see the collar right there. You see the logo right there. After unlawfully stealing Kristi Noem's purse and related property, Mario fled on foot in an eastward direction towards Massachusetts Avenue. Secret Service and their investigative efforts determined that he had discarded Kristi Noem's driver's license in the vicinity of the 600 block. So gets the purse, go, okay, just looking for the cash, don't need this crap. He then subsequently boarded another bus in Chinatown. An individual matching the description of Mario was later observed exiting the bus at 8:34. Hops on a bus, he's gone. Now, after exiting the bus, he then walked across the street to the Angolo Ristorante Italiano restaurant to have himself some lasagna. After initially sitting down at a table within the restaurant, he decided to sit at the bar where he stayed until midnight. Now, while at the bar, he successfully used Kristi Noem's credit card to buy food and alcohol. So this dude was just enjoying it up with lasagna and meatballs, huh? Just having garlic bread, platter after platter, garlic. Yeah, bring another one out. Gosh, all on Kristi Noem's credit card. It's terrible. Wow. It's probably delicious, though. Anyways, shouldn't have done it. Now it's not good. Not good when it's Homeland, especially. So then he made 5 purchases using Kristi Noem's credit card, $205 on her tab. Oh no. Whoa, look at this. Phoenix, Arizona shout out says your fine is aware that American Express's servers are located in Phoenix, Arizona. And so he was committing wire fraud by using the American Express credit card from Kristi Noem to communicate with Arizona. There it is. There's Kristi's credit card, baby. Right there on the table. He's like, more meatballs, baby. Another round of meatballs. Keep them coming. Surveillance footage from the restaurant captured Mario in possession of some of Kristi's property. He's got her purse. He's got her stolen wallet. He's got one of her credit cards, the latter of which the restaurant was able to match the 2 transactions made by him. And like, it's wild. Like the restaurant's like, Kristi Noem, that's crazy. You don't even look alike at all. Okay, we're running this stuff. Bustamante Mario appeared on surveillance video to be wearing a dark jacket with a white emblem. Dude, this dude bit off way more than he can chew. He had no idea what he was in for, did he? And a thick white collar, jeans, dark hat, square logo, and the COVID mask. So there he is. Look at him just lounging it up. He's got the purse. He's got the purse right there on the bar. It's like, bro, what are you doing with a purse on the bar here in an Italian restaurant? Getting sloshed on meatballs, lasagna, and some Italian vino. So Secret Service personnel determined through their review of the surveillance footage that while Mario was patronizing the restaurant on Kristi Noem's dime, he plugged in a cell phone to charge it up. After leaving the restaurant, he was observed by the same surveillance system falling asleep at an outdoor table. Hammered drunk. This guy's crazy, dude. Where he remained until 7:30 in the morning. This guy is crazy, okay? This dude is just having the time of his life. Why not? You break into the country, you steal everybody's purse you can. You go, you just get hammered drunk. You slosh yourself with lasagna every night. Doesn't matter. Just go to a new restaurant and just pass out on the bench with the rest of the bums in Washington. It's basically what Congress does. They steal all of our stuff. They go treat themselves. They get drunk. They pass out and they wake up the next morning. It's not any different. So he's just like, this is illegal? This whole town is doing this. What are you talking about? Everybody's stealing from the people. I was just doing what our politicians do in America. God bless America. This is America, isn't it? What are you mad at me for? The Capitol's right over there. They're doing it to everybody. Says the following morning, he woke up drunk or hungover. Wow, that was crazy. Okay, who are we robbing today? So then he was last observed on surveillance video walking eastbound near the Four Seasons in Georgetown. So then we go on. So then on April 26th, the Secret Service learned about this report, 2501 in numbers, from the Montgomery County Police Department in Silver Spring, Maryland. Oh, another Maryland man. Oh, probably, like I said, studying for his PhD, in which Mario identified himself to law enforcement and said he was the victim of a theft. Wow, that's rich. That's rich. So he's got a revenge tour. On April 19th, Mario, MCPD officers responded to a theft. Once on scene, they met with Mario. This dude called the cops. They had a Spanish interpreting officer, because of course he can't even speak English, advise the following. They said at 2 a.m., Mario, who has no fixed address and is currently unhoused, well, obviously, he just stays at hotels and steals from people, sleeps on the bench. He fell asleep in a bench in front of a park at around 2 a.m. Then when he woke up, someone stole all of his belongings. Can you believe this crap? So he called the cops to get it back because stealing is wrong in America. He advised that several things in the bag were stolen. My shoes were gone. My Chilean passport was gone. $1,000 in cash that I stole from Kristi and other people were gone. Now, he was somewhat uncooperative, of course, smelled heavily of an alcoholic beverage because he's an entitled illegal alien who broke into our country, he's hammered drunk, passing out on benches, probably getting accolades from the Democratic Party and screaming at the cops, "Where's my stolen stuff?" Wow. Okay, so we continue. Below is a summary of the fraudulent expenses made by this poetry scholar. Says, below is a summary of the fraudulent expenditures. Here's what we've got. Stolen credit cards. Victim number 2, Visa gift card, $507. We know that one. We also got the $409 on victim 1. We also then $205 on Kristi Noem's credit card when he was getting plastered on lasagna. Then we got his arrest. Now, from the date of his purchase of the Amex gift card using the first person stolen card, Officer Perlman, and can we shout out our good officers, Officer Perlman, for digging into this and getting this scum out of here? He's been around for years. How long has this guy been doing this? For years. I mean, that's how you get so much bravado, when you can just go and leave the purse on the thing and just swipe away and just go fall asleep on the bench because I'm never going to get caught. Officer Perlman periodically checked through the gift card payment provider for activity on the card. The payment provider's fraud investigators also monitored the card for hours, after hours activity and over the weekend. So then on April 26th, a fraud investigator checked the Amex card's transactions. They said, oh, got one. Officer Perlman, what's up? Detective Gargak, check it out. The Amex gift card had been activated, was now using a cell phone number ending in 5732. The fraud investigator further advised that the gift card had been used to make a purchase at Motel 6. Got him. 10:24 a.m. Boom. Officer Perlman calls Secret Service police, who determined the phone number was used to activate the gift card. It was a T-Mobile number. Using commercial databases, boom, law enforcement determined that the phone number is registered to Marie Bustamante is the name. Now, additionally, law enforcement was aware that Mario and suspect number 2 had previously stayed at this location before on the 12th and the 13th using another gift card purchased with the funds from credit card number 1. Investigators responded to Motel 6 and queried the reservation system for the last 4 digits of the Amex gift card ending in 3742. The second result on the list, nailed them. Reservation starting April 21st, extending through April 27th. They say, oh, well, let's like today. The name provided for this reservation was Mario Bustamante. Room 311. The reservation revealed that Mario likely used a photocopy of a Chilean passport in the name of Mario Bustamante Leiva as an ID. So now we've got ID and name, and we've got basically everything, right? All cell phone, clothing matches, video footage, multiple different scenes, multiple different angles, following this dude left and right, getting on up buses, going to Chinatown, all the places. Surveillance footage of the check-in was also reviewed. They said, boom, we got him. Face and clothing again. So then they're like, oh, they're probably here. Should we go say hello? Let's go say hello. So investigators then knocked on the door of room 311. And guess who came to the door? It's me, Mario. Hello. Hey, Mario, answered the door. He's like, what's going on? U.S. Secret Service and Metro Police recognized Mario as the suspect in the 12th, 17th, and 20th incidents, all standing around right there. She's going, oh, he must have had a bad day. He had a bad moment. So MPD then placed him under arrest and escorted him to the lobby of the hotel. Like, you know who we are? He's like, yeah. Secret Service and Metro Police secured the scene. They continued to hold room 311 secure until they secured a search warrant. Then they transported him to the hospital after complaining of alcohol withdrawal. There you go. He's an alcoholic. Yeah. So once he goes to the hospital, he's probably detoxing, just melting down. Once cleared from the hospital, he was then transported to be interviewed by MPD and Secret Service. And he's having a rough time coming out of that booze detox. Now, Mario then is brought down where he's interviewed. Officers Perlman and Gargak and U.S. Special Agent May digging into him, saying that he is primarily Spanish speaking. Yeah. Thus, Detective Benjamin was also there to act as a translator. The interview was video and audio recorded. This is a short summary of the interview. He was advised of his Miranda rights and subsequently waived them. Good. He was first shown a body-worn camera photograph of himself from April 19th, a report he made about being the victim of the theft. They said, "Is this you? Do you remember when you called us and we came to come help you?" He says, "Yeah, I do." He says, "Yes, that is me. I remember." He said, "Do you remember what happened?" He said, "Yeah, 5 black males had robbed me." Ugh. Five black guys came and robbed you while you were asleep on the bench? Wild story. So he identified, "Yep, that's me. I remember. They stole all my stuff." Now, he was wearing what appeared to be the same black coat with white fur in the photograph that he was shown. He says, they're like, "So this, yeah, it's you, right? Because it's the same jacket. You're wearing it right there." Right? He observed wearing on the surveillance video during the other offenses. Now, he then stated, "Well, I'm an alcoholic," which is clear, and therefore he's got memory issues. Yeah, so I don't remember. Now, during the interview, he admitted to stealing Kristi Noem's bag. Busted. He stated, admissions are bad. For the defendant, he stated that the purse in the bag was underneath the chair and he used his feet like a stealth secret ninja to evade scrutiny from the entire national security apparatus put in place to defect our high priority VIPs with a little leg. Whoop. Slide it out from underneath the chair. Homeland's like, "Ah, that's smart." Now, Mario then picked up the purse in the bag and fled. He advised that he kept the purse and the wallet that was inside of it. The rest of the contents he threw in the trash. Mario claimed that he still had the purse and that it was in the motel room. He verified that he had the shoes and a coat that were worn during the offenses. Like, "Oh, yeah, well, you were wearing something different. Do you have that?" He's like, "Yeah, it's in my room." Like, "Oh, okay, thanks." It's great. "It's in your suitcase?" "Yeah, it's on the side. I keep it there just sitting." Like, "Oh, thank you." So Mario was then shown a photograph of Kristi Noem. They're like, "Do you have any idea who this is?" He's like, "Okay, no conoces." He said, denied any prior knowledge of who they were. No idea. It was Kristi Noem. He said he had a good recollection of this offense, but stated he could not remember the other offense. He's like, "I remember that one. Yeah, but I don't know who she is." Now, Bustamante was then shown video stills from the other offenses, the 12th and the 17th. He identified himself in the video stills. "Yep, that's me too. And that's me too." He was also shown a news story from a British publication during his arrest in 2014 for a series of thefts that occurred in London, England. So this guy came from England. He was stealing from you and they sent him over here. Friends in the UK. The story detailed that Bustamante had been arrested in London for stealing designer bags and purses. He's an international thief. Incredible. The article included a photograph, and he was shown this photograph. He says, "Yep, that's me. The Brits want him too." So he was also asked about suspect number 2, who we'll talk about next. Stated that he had recently met suspect number 2 days before, stating that he disclosed that suspect number 2 had rented motel rooms together to save money. And he was shown photographs of suspect number 2 and verified him. Yep, that's him. Repeatedly stated the gift cards that he used were provided to the other guy. So I didn't use them. The other guy did. Advised that the Amex gift card that was used on the morning of April 26th that led to his arrest was not his. No, I didn't use that one. Okay, suddenly disavowing all the activity. Got it. So then on April 27th, members of the Secret Service, other officers, Perlman and Gargak, they got a search warrant from the Superior Court in D.C. and searched his room. They got a bunch of stuff. Kristi Noem's purse and wallet. They got the Amex gift card. They got a black jacket with the white fur collar, pair of Nike camouflage sneakers, a business card belonging to the manager of the Quality Inn, $3,100 in U.S. cash, a €5 note, a smart trip card. The jacket, Nike sneakers were recovered from room 311, appear to match the ones that he wore on the robbery dates. And the smart trip card was the one that he was traveling back around with. All flagged by him. So Accordingly, in conclusion, they write between April 12th and April 26th, Mario devised and intended to devise a scheme to defraud 3 victims to take their money under false pretenses. He stole credit cards. He used those credit cards. He made purchases and handed them off to suspect number 2. All of the servers are located out of state. We've got Atlanta, Georgia is being pinged to do that. Phoenix, Arizona is being pinged to do that. 3 victims, wire fraud, and more. And so accordingly, the U.S. Secret Service submits via Stephen May criminal charges against the purse thief, illegal alien who broke into our country and then robbed many American citizens, not just Kristi Noem, but many Americans who work hard for their money and for their things should not have to face this abuse from imported illegal aliens who are criminals. Now, there was a second illegal who also got caught up in this. We saw this just posted today, telling us that the second person who was suspect number 2 in there has also been identified as a Chilean national who also got handed a notice of expedited removal in this country, but was never removed. This person's name is called Christian Rodrigo Montecino-Sanzana, and I've not seen the charges filed in this one yet, but I'm sure they're coming, was busted in Miami on Sunday after he and another illegal were caught. First guy got caught, Mario. This next guy is called Christian. Yeah. And here's a picture of this guy, Christian Rodrigo Montecino-Sanzana. The second illegal also got wrapped up, right? Looks like the photos that we saw in the first one, the taller dude. Both of them now caught, telling us that he was released into the U.S. in January 2021. Thanks, Joe, for doing that, despite U.S. Border Patrol issuing him a notice of expedited removal. So it's weird. It's like he's already had a ton of due process, but he's still in the country. Now, if we want to remove him, the liberals start to scream that there is no due process. He was apprehended trying to sneak across the southern border in December. They caught him, let him in anyways. Here you go. And now we got to fight to deport them out? How much due process did they afford all these people who they stole their purses? 0. So thank you for confirming to us that there are double standards that exist. You want them all in, but you'll do everything that we can to get them back out. His arrest came shortly after Mario got nailed. Charges against him are pending. We'll see those drop, no doubt about it. They stole the purse from Kristi Noem, and now they've been caught. And so, of course, that is good news. And they're happy about that, celebrating about it. And the White House is responding to a lot of this. In fact, this morning, Margo Martin posted this over from the White House lawns. And I'm sure you've seen this, causing a lot of ruckus out there, especially on the cables, because the cables are going to have these signs showing up behind them when they're doing their fake news propaganda broadcasts. So Margo posted this, says, look at all these people who have been arrested. And we're curious to see if the Democrats will show up there and cry from their jail cells like they did with Kilmar, another MS-13 gangbanger. But look at the charges here. Charges against kids, women, drugs, guns, many crimes against kids that are just disgusting. Homicides, more assaults, tons of them, right? And the list could go on and on. This is just obviously a very small snippet of what is out there. The numbers are in the thousands and much more. So she posted that. The White House was also out talking about this, clearing up a lot of the fake news. There was this ridiculous story that like a 2-year-old was deported or something. Like they threw some kid in a cannon and like shot him to Guatemala or something. Totally ridiculous. But the fake news really doesn't have much else to do or talk about. Their entire party is crumbling. Nobody likes them. They're still trying to talk about how to lop off genitals and things. And now we see Marco Rubio coming out to correct the record. Here's what he said.
Our audience, 3 U.S. citizen children have been deported with their mothers. Now, this is according to the Washington Post. The family's lawyer says one of them is a 4-year-old with stage 4 cancer, deported without medication or ability to contact doctors. The family's lawyers are also saying their clients were denied communication with family and legal representatives before being deported. And it's raising concerns about the issue of due process, that it's being violated. So let me ask you, is everyone on U.S. soil, citizens and non-citizens, entitled to due process?
Yes, of course. But let me tell you, it looks in immigration standing, the laws are very specific. If you're in this country unlawfully, you have no right to be here and you must be removed. That's what the law says. Somehow over the last 20 years, we've completely lost this notion that somehow or completely adopted this idea that, yes, we have immigration laws, but once you come into our country illegally, it triggers all kinds of rights that can keep you here indefinitely. That's why we were being flooded at the border. And we've ended that. And that's why you see a historically low number of people, not just trying to cross our border, trying to cross the border into Panama, all the way down in the Darien Gap. I mean, it's been a huge help for those countries as well. On the headline, that's a misleading headline. Okay, 3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers, who are legally in this country, were deported. The children went with their mothers. If those children are U.S. citizens, they can come back into the United States if there's their father or someone here who wants to assume them. But ultimately, who was deported was their mothers who were here illegally. The children just went with their mothers. But it wasn't like, you guys make it sound like ICE agents kicked down the door and grabbed the 2-year-old and threw him on an airplane. That's misleading. That's just not true.
Just to be clear, because I do want to get to the overhaul at the State Department. Is it the U.S. policy to deport children, even U.S. citizens, with their families, and I hear what you're saying, without due process, just to be very clear there?
Well, no. Again, if someone's in this country unlawfully, illegally, that person gets deported. If that person is with a 2-year-old child or has a 2-year-old child and says, I want to take my child with me, well, then you have 2 choices. You can say, yes, of course you can take your child, whether they're a citizen or not, because it's your child. Or you can say, yes, you can go, but your child must stay behind. And then your headlines would read, U.S. holding hostage 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old while mother deported. So the parents make that choice. I imagine those 3 U.S. citizen children have fathers here in the United States. They can stay with their father. That's up to their family to decide where the children go. Children go with their parents. Parents decide where their children go. The U.S. deported their mothers who were illegally in America.
Mr. Secretary.
All right. And the fake news media is just the worst. She's terrible. And the headline after this, you may have seen it over the weekend, was a lot of Marco Rubio says, of course, there should be due process, right? And we have pointed this out from the very beginning. Due process is a very fleeting term. It can mean a lot of things, and does. There's substantive due process. There's procedural due process. You spend a ton of time in constitutional law and criminal procedure and evidence and all the other things talking about due process of law, what it means, and to whom does it apply, when does it apply, and how does it apply. And what Rubio is saying when he says, of course, they deserve due process, is there is a process that we go through when we deport people, everybody. There is a process. Our laws define what that due process is. And they go through immigration proceedings. The Alien Enemies Act invokes certain powers, and it's all a process. So they get notice. There is an opportunity to be heard. They can file a habeas petition in a court where they're being detained. No one has ever contested that at all. What they've done is redefined due process to mean not those things that have already been the law for decades. The immigration system is operating exactly as it should. They're just having a meltdown over it and saying that they should have more due process and more speed bumps and barriers to deporting them than ordinary. Okay, so in other words, they don't want standard due process. They want extra protection due process. They want due process plus, which is to give suddenly illegals all these protections that a regular citizen would get, even though the system doesn't obligate that at all. It's set up under Article 2 for that reason. The executive branch enforces the law. The people who are illegally immigrating are breaking the law. So there's a due process system set up inside the branch to get them out. It's very easy to understand it, but the media is intentionally trying to be obtuse about it. So in other words, you like have to, they're doing the same thing with this criminal thing. They have no criminal record. So how dare you deport them without a trial and finding them guilty of something, and then only then can you deport them? That's not what the law says at all. And it's a fake moving of the goalposts that Rubio, I think, is doing a good job of pushing back on. Now, he was also joined today by Stephen Miller, who came out and was explaining some education to the media. Here's what some of that sounded like.
Hi, sir. Will you take it? That ICE is locking up 800 criminals. Is Pritzker inciting insurrection, and will DOJ take action?
Well, what I would say is that his comments, if nothing else, could be construed as inciting violence. So President Trump survived 2 assassination attempts against his life. course, there's been many more credible threats against President Trump and his family and associates. We've, of course, seen the spate of left-wing domestic terrorism all across this country. By the way, the destruction of property sits directly adjacent to attacks on humans and physical attacks. In other words, once you tolerate and once you allow for attacks on property, you're just a step away from people throwing Molotov cocktails into people's homes. And you've even seen some, I think one example of a formerly prominent Washington Post journalist who seemed to be celebrating the murder of a healthcare CEO, right? Health insurance CEO. And that's the point we've reached in this country, where people are engaging in rhetoric and behavior that puts the lives of public servants in danger, puts the lives of conservative Americans in danger. And so that's the first thing I would say. And then, of course, secondly,
she loves
right, just this war that Democrat governors and mayors are waging against federal law enforcement. I mean, this is nullificationist behavior. This is secessionist behavior. Where this thing, they don't recognize the supremacy of federal law enforcement in terms of protecting the lives and livelihoods of American citizens against a foreign invasion. We've never seen anything like it. And of course, the result of their conduct is that they're allowing illegal aliens to go free and rape and murder their own citizens. So I can imagine having a leader in a city or a state that would privilege the well-being of illegal alien murderers over their own citizens, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you about, it's before Congress right now, the Religious Workforce Protection Act. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But
that illegal aliens should be able to be deported swiftly and quickly, and it should be as simple as, are you lawfully in the United States? No. If you are not, then you should go home. Like in a sane country, that would be the system.
Pretty simple.
If you know that a person trespassed illegally in your property, you send them out of your property that quickly. Now, there are a lot of court rulings and other systems that have been put into place that slow things down, but we're going to move as fast as we possibly can to get illegal aliens out of our country.
Mr.
Yes.
Regarding the raid in Colorado Springs this weekend, do you have the nationalities? Because, I mean, against PDA and MS-13, but do you know if there were Colombians around? They found a really popular drug in Colombia, which is called Tusi, the pink cocaine. Do you know if there were Colombians?
It's a great question. I don't have the nationalities available for you right now.
Are you pleased with this case? The number of Africans involved in all of this is a lot, or there is no Africans?
With respect to which question?
The deportation of illegal people.
Well, I mean, it includes everyone who came illegally in the last number of years.
In terms of percentage, is a lot of Africans?
Well, I don't have the exact percentage in terms of the breakdown, but it's certainly true that the flows of illegal immigration that came in the last 4 years included many from not only Central America, not only Mexico, but all of Latin America, and of course Africa, Asia, Middle East, basically everywhere but Antarctica.
Do you have any negotiations with Iran?
I don't have any update on that for you right now.
Can you give us an update on how the president's meeting with Speaker Johnson
Comment on the two judges or the media outrage of these judges that were arrested, some of the outrage from Democrat lawmakers?
Yes. If you commit a federal obstruction crime, you will go to jail. There are explicit, it's amazing to me how the left defines democracy as that Congress passes a law and then local officials should religiously violate those laws with no consequences.
Only if
Congress passed a series of laws over the years, making it a crime to harbor, to smuggle, to evade, to obstruct, particularly and specifically in the context of immigration enforcement. So when you have a federal judge who engages in plain, direct, overt, intentional, and willful violation of those federal laws, of course they'll be arrested, and of course they belong in jail.
Do you know how
you guys
Speaker
ran on targeting violent criminals, worst of the worst. I'm not disputing any of the facts around the cases of these women who were deported, removed with their kids, but given you're looking for more money from Congress, ICE says they need more beds, they need more money. Is it the best use of the administration's resources to be going after moms of young kids, basically?
Do you yourself have an opinion on the subject?
I'm more interested in yours.
Well, what percentage of the, let's just pick an even number of, say, 10 million illegal aliens. Let's say that Biden released, I think it's closer to 20 million. Let's say he released 10 million illegal aliens into the country over the last 4 years. What percentage do you think we should let stay here of those 10 million?
I'm not trying to do a game show.
No, but I'm saying, no, but.
If you think that's the best use of.
Well, hold on, but is it your view that if a Democrat president releases 10, 15, 20 million illegals into the country, they all then should get to stay forever and for all of life?
Stephen, I don't have a view about what Democratic presidents do. I'm asking what the Republican president
Yeah, so,
do.
okay, so you don't want to answer the question because you know the answer is obvious. Everyone that Biden let in has to go home. Of course. I mean, it's a crazy thing to even ask.
It's crazy.
Do you think we should give administrative amnesty to some subset of the illegals that Biden? Here's how we're prioritizing it. ICE is going to continue to focus on raids against high-threat criminal aliens. We're going to use the entire force and power of the federal government to get them all home. Many will choose also to leave voluntarily and take advantage of the CBP Home app. But we are not going to ask taxpayers to subsidize the presence of a single illegal alien in this country. Here's another thing. Do you think that we have some sort of magic 8-ball to see which particular illegal aliens who skip their hearings, which particular gotaways are going to go on to commit a rape or murder? How do you explain to a parent in this country if you chose to release an illegal alien and they committed some heinous crime, why you chose to make that release? From a public safety standpoint alone, you cannot justify setting free a removable and deportable alien. Like in these recent cases, these were all illegal aliens who showed up at an ICE facility for a scheduled appointment. We'd be spending extra resources to set them free. They're already inside of the ICE facility. I mean, think about that. Illegal aliens walked, no, it's a very important point. Illegal aliens walked into an ICE facility and were taken into custody. Could you imagine telling ICE officers to release illegal aliens who announce and present themselves at an ICE facility? Would any other law enforcement agency do that? If a wanted fugitive went into an FBI facility and announced themselves, would they be allowed to walk out the door that very afternoon? I mean, the whole thing's preposterous.
What do you think people showing up at a nice facility? And all these people who've lost their lives at the hands of illegal migrants. And then you also have fentanyl, which is ravaging our communities. Friends of mine have died from fentanyl. So do you blame the Biden administration? Do they have blood on their hands?
Well, of course they do, but not just the Biden administration. Of course the Biden administration does, but also all of their enablers do, right? All of the radical left immigration groups and attorneys and NGOs who aided and abetted and supported the invasion. All the Democrat politicians in Congress, like Hakeem Jeffries, who aided, abetted, and supported the invasion, and Chris Murphy, and everyone in the media who knowingly lied and covered up about that invasion for 4 years. They all share in the atrocity, in the calamity. They all have blood on their hands and on their conscience and on their souls. And nothing they ever say or do will ever earn them forgiveness for that because of just how severe those violations were and how many people have died and suffered as a result.
It was
That's between them and their maker.
It was a weapon.
But they'll be getting no forgiveness from me, I can promise you.
Yeah, they weaponized
it. About the judicial resistance to Trump's agenda, and what can the administration do to overcome these challenges?
Well, that is simply put, it's a war on democracy. President Trump is elected on a mandate to secure the border, to stop the invasion, to send illegal aliens home. You cannot have a situation where one district court judge or a cabal of 10 or 15 district court judges who are radical left, sitting in strictly regional courtrooms, can conspire with each other to shut down the operations of the federal law enforcement function. That is not only antithetical to democracy, it is a direct form of tyranny in which the people of this country are being told that you cannot have the thing that you voted for, even when the thing that you voted for is required by law. All these individuals by law have no right to be here and must be sent home.
Right, it's the
None
law.
of the people that Biden let in have a legitimate asylum claim, have a legitimate claim to relief, have any right or basis to be inside the United States. And now we see a move by the media to say that some subset of the 10, 15, 20 million illegals that Biden let in, who, knowing they're here illegally, choose to stay here, choose to have children, that then we should take the view, oh, you beat the system, you trespass in our country, you failed to leave, you failed to comply with our laws, and now you've had a child, and now what, you get amnesty for life? No. And what we should ask, a laid-off worker in Ohio to now pay for welfare for your entire life? We should ask somebody who lost their job under a factory that closed down under Joe Biden to provide you with free education and free healthcare. You should wait an extra hour or 2 hours when your kid is sick in the emergency room because you have hundreds of illegals getting frontline care at an ER because they don't have health insurance, they don't have a job, they don't have any savings. They're here to live off of us. But we should ask struggling Americans to pay for all of that. The whole thing is obscene and it's absurd. I can't even imagine how much time we spend debating.
Let's go, Steve.
How much generosity, how many billions of taxpayer dollars, how much amnesty, how many reprieves we should give to people who chose to come here illegally and take from us and our people. The whole conversation is absurd and offensive.
Stephen, can you give an update on the meeting with Speaker Johnson went today?
Not right now. Yes.
How important is it?
Baby, he's on fire right now. All right, so we're going to let this play out a little bit, see where it goes.
Have public opinion on your side. Do you risk losing hearts and
Well,
minds?
even a CBS poll showed overwhelming public support for mass deportation. Support for deporting illegal aliens is overwhelmingly popular, as is shutting down welfare, as is removing criminal threats, as is dismantling foreign criminal gangs. This whole thing is just amazing to me. We have an entire media ecosystem, an entire political party devoted singularly to the defense and protection of illegal aliens in general and illegal alien criminals in particular.
Whole industry, immigration industrial complex.
Are you of how the Mexican government does with illegal immigration? Is this what is enough in your
Well,
mind?
thanks to President Trump's leadership, the Mexican government's done more than it's ever done, but it's still not even close to what we need and what the president expects. There's much more that we expect from Mexico, particularly in regard to the fentanyl threat.
President Trump had previously suggested there could be stipends for people who leave the country on their own.
Yes.
Is that still in the works?
Oh, absolutely.
Is there a cost estimate for how much that will cost? Will you need Congress to act on
Well,
that?
it'll actually save us hundreds of billions of dollars.
Interesting idea.
So
Pay to
a
leave.
single illegal alien family over the course of its lifetime may cost U.S. taxpayers over $1 million. So when you
If they're
give
not
an illegal
stealing
immigrant
purses.
a check for, say, $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it may be, $3,000 to leave the country, you're saving taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars. It also saves money relative to us having to go out and find that illegal alien and physically arrest them and deport them, which of course we will still do. So the plan that President Trump has put into place is very simple. If you choose to stay here unlawfully, you will be fined. And by law, that fine, by the law Congress has passed, is $1,000 each day you've stayed past your removal order. That's the law that Congress passed, the law that we're being told we should ignore. That's democracy, apparently, as the media says we should ignore the laws Congress has passed, but Congress is clear on this. You face arrest for illegal work. You face arrest for document theft. You face arrest for failure to register as required by law. You face arrest for evading or obstructing your removal. And you also face deportation at a time and place of our choosing, including the total confiscation and forfeiture of all of your assets and income. Or you can choose to book a free flight and get a check and go home on your own terms with your possessions very happily and live your life in your home country. I have time for two more questions.
Uber afuera.
Yes.
Are you frustrated or mad at the Supreme Court for keeping the TDA deportation stay in effect?
Well, the FBI released an assessment, as I'm sure you've seen, that not only is Thanedar acting as an arm of the Maduro regime, but they're actively planning assassination plots on U.S. soil. This is horrifying and it's harrowing. This is a foreign terrorist organization operating at the direction and control of an adversarial foreign regime, and we hope and expect that we'll be allowed to remove these terrorists from our soil as quickly and expeditiously as possible. One last question.
Stephen,
Yes.
As a follow to that, though, you keep talking about your dissatisfaction with federal district court judges. You've been asked about the Supreme Court. At what point will the administration accept a decision of the courts, even if it's not in its favour?
I don't understand what you're asking.
Yeah, they have.
Like what? No, what is it?
Would you only accept a decision of a court if it's in the...
Well, but look at the example that was just given. Because of the Supreme Court's ruling, right, the administration, right, is operating under a TRO, a temporary restraining order, on the Alien Enemies Act for illegal alien foreign terrorists who are plotting on U.S. soil, right? So that was a ruling that was issued. That's in effect. So I don't understand the question. I'll take one more because that question didn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a dumb question.
You see a million deportations this year? You only had 139,000 so far.
Okay, I'll take these two. Yes.
Can you
do you, then you.
Planned Parenthood sponsored today's playbook. I'm just curious how you feel about that.
No, I'm not shocked or surprised.
You want to hit a million deportations this year at least. You're at 139,000. Can you still hit a million this year?
Well, the rate of deportation is increasing every single day. Remember, we inherited a system that was completely shut down, that was completely broke. And now President Trump is working with the overwhelming backing and support of the American public to get that system operating at full speed and efficiency. And once we clear away some of these rogue district court injunctions, we'll be able to operate with an even greater degree of force and speed. And so I think we will vastly exceed that number, in addition to all of the self-deportations that are occurring and will continue to occur. And once we're able to begin applying these increasingly significant consequences financially and criminally for illegal aliens who choose to remain, we will see even faster and quicker voluntary departures from the United States. Bottom line is that the president is going to continue and expand and accelerate to remove from our midst people who have no lawful right to be here, and we will do so without apology. Thank you.
Vastly exceed
Thank you,
1
sir.
million or 139.
All right, that is Stephen Miller, and that guy is built for this. He was, I think, genetically engineered to come into this position and to deport people from America. That guy has his handle on policy in a way that I think even a few people in the administration don't, and he can communicate it just as well. So we're glad to see Stephen Miller out there quickly becoming, I think, one of the most effective people in the entire White House, coming out and just explaining how it works. Even the media can't debate it because they don't know the difference between an order of removal and an order for withholding of removal. Like as we saw with the Kilmar case, they have a very difficult time with these concepts and the nuance, and Stephen Miller crushed it. So he delivered, and what we're seeing is a full effort to secure America against the damage done by Joe Biden and his administration, and it's happening one at a time. One criminal rounded up after another. 2 people now in custody as a result of the purse theft. Kristi Noem gets her purse back, and America gets 2 criminals in custody. All right, so good stuff over there, my friends. Now we got 2 other updates, shorter updates, but still good indeed. And this one is about Tish. Big Tish gets hit with another bar complaint. We've already covered one coming out at her, courtesy of someone who's a local politician there in New York. But now America First Legal sending in another complaint to the Committee on Professional Standards. And Tish, who's now suspected of multiple various allegations of mortgage fraud, now under scrutiny for her law license as well. In addition to prospective criminal charges, let's take that law license away from her since she's a fraudster trying to scam the public by getting beneficial loans at everybody else's expense. So here's what America First Legal says. All right, we filed another bar complaint against Tishy. Following the DOJ criminal referral that went over, the complaint says she committed mortgage fraud spanning decades, falsified bank documents, and more. Now, we'll read through the full letter, but they also dropped some good stuff in this X thread. They said on April 14th, if you recall, William Pulte, we read through this, sent a letter over to Tish saying, you falsified a bunch of stuff. We've talked about it. She had the 2 main issues, of course. One was saying that a 5-bedroom property was actually 4 bedrooms, so she could qualify for a better loan. And the other story was about her claiming that a second property was actually a primary property, so she could get a better loan. Now, their criminal referral already laid out several things: wire fraud, mail fraud, bank fraud, false statements, and more. But in 2023, they saw this. America First says, James sought to purchase a home in Norfolk, Virginia, declared it would be her principal residence. Right there. I hereby declare that I, Big Tish, intend to occupy this property along with my Tish as my principal residence. So, well, all right, we'll let you both move in here. So New York sitting AG, they say it's highly unlikely that she intended to move more than 400 miles away from New York to establish Virginia as her principal residence. However, declaring it her primary residence secured a lower mortgage interest rate. Look how far away that is, Tish. You're not going to drive down there. The referral also alleges that in 2001, she falsely reported to the federal government that the number of housing units in the building were different than what they were. Here's more documents on that, right? 5-family dwelling is what the property is. And it's really, she's been calling it a 4-unit building to get better loans that apply to 4-unit buildings and don't to 5. But in 2011, when refinancing, she reported that the building only had 4 units. Oh, making it eligible for home affordable modification plans. More documents right there. She applies for it. Dwelling only, 4-family, busted, mortgagor. Letitia James. In 2019, when she referenced the property again, she reported that it only had 4 units, qualifying her for a mortgage through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. If it was 5, she wouldn't have gotten that loan. There it is again. So the documents come out saying if she took actions, all that, if that's true, she violated New York ethical rules, obviously. Big Tish violated rules 8.4b. She violated 8.4c. all of the New York rules of professional conduct, and she needs to be sanctioned accordingly. America First says rules 8.4b and c say that it is prohibited to engage in illegal conduct that adversely reflects on the lawyer's honesty, from Tish, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer, or conduct involving dishonesty, fraud, deceit, and misrepresentation. Can't do it. Rule 8.4 says so. Sorry, Tish, can't do it. As AG James herself has repeatedly said, there cannot be two systems of justice in this nation. No one's above the law. You're right about that, Tish. And you're now next. Says America First Legal urges the Committee on Professional Standards to investigate her, and here is what got sent her way. Over to the New York State Bar Committee on Professional Standards, referencing Big Tish James. They say, all right, this is America First Legal Foundation writing, and we're writing to file a bar complaint against the biggest Letitia James in all of New York, Tish James, the Attorney General. On April 14th, Pulte from Federal Housing sent a letter to Bondi and Todd Blanche saying that Tish should be referred to criminal prosecution, as we know. Now, as shown below, the evidence indicates that she filed false bank documents, property records, and more to get favorable loan terms. Now, while serving as the AG for the state of New York, she purchased a home in Virginia and said that she was going to make it her principal residence. This meant that she would live there in Virginia full-time. Can't do that if you're the AG in New York. Now, the obvious reason for making the certification, lower interest rate. Now, additionally, on another occasion, she said that there were a number of dwelling units and misrepresenting the number of units in the building that she owned. Also got mortgage refinancing at a much lower rate. And here's the truth. First, Pulte's letter shows that she purchased a home in Virginia through a power of attorney granted to Shamis. During the purchase, the documents say that Virginia would be James's primary residence. She then got elected as the AG of New York in 2018. In 2022, James flirted with a run for governor, but instead of running for governor, decided to run for re-election and won. From 18 until present, she's been the elected AG of New York. Unlikely that she ever planned to be a full-time resident in Virginia, but caught it anyways and then got a nice fat loan on it. But then the second part of this is Bill's letter provides other evidence that Tish purchased a multi-dwelling unit with 5 units listed in the certificate of occupancy. And we just posted another video this morning that goes into further detail on this from the very great Sam Antar from whitecollarfraud.com. Says, however, in 2011, she submitted an application for the Home Affordable Mod program, indicating that it was a 4-unit building and not a 5, and she did that to get a better loan. These loans are capped. You can only get them for 4 dwelling units. So she called it a 4. And the HAMP program was limited to 4 units. It appears that Tish misrepresented fraudulently the number of dwellings in her unit to get better terms. Now, as the New York Rules of Professional Conduct states, a lawyer is an officer of the legal system. That's you, Tish, who has a duty to uphold the law and to promote the administration of justice. Man, she has not ever done that. A lawyer should further the public's understanding, trust, and confidence in the rule of law. Because in a constitutional democracy, legal institutions depend on popular participation and support to maintain their authority, right? This is legitimacy. This is credibility. When courts lose it, they lose their power, which is why what we're seeing happen out of DC right now is so problematic. Now, further, the legal profession is largely self-governing. The legal profession helps preserve the law from governmental abuse. If the government itself regulated the legal profession, the profession would lose part of its purpose, which in many ways is to challenge the government. Thus, lawyers are expected to observe the rules of conduct. Failure to do so harms the entire profession and the practice of law. So long as practitioners are guided by these principles, the law will be a noble profession. And then you get Tish in here, you get Fannie Willis, and they wreck the whole thing, going on cruises with their lovers. Any failure to comply with an obligation or prohibition is a basis for invoking the disciplinary process. And so here's what we say. The rules of professional conduct define fraud as the following: something that has the purpose to deceive. Letitia's material misrepresentations meet that definition and question her candor, her trustworthiness, and Letitia's honesty. If Letitia took actions that were alleged in Pulte's letter, she's in violation of multiple rules, 8.4b, 8.4c, and more. Conduct involving dishonesty, fraud, and deceit. Now, the New York bar, they write, you guys, a lot of people will ask, right, what can we do about Tish? Like, is she going to lose her license? Is she going to go to jail? Is she going to resign? What are the ramifications going to be? One avenue would be the state bar. State bar can regulate this, but I think this question got asked yesterday or the day before. If she's elected by the people and they want her in there like the people do, how is the bar going to override the people and take away her ability to practice law as the New York Attorney General? Hard to do that. So if those are true, while beyond a reasonable doubt, saying you at least should investigate it, right? The committee has the authority to begin an investigation on this complaint. And there is currently no other legal action or proceeding that this would be entwined with in New York. And so you, the bar, you're supposed to regulate us, should exercise your statutory authority and launch your own independent investigation into Tish. The legal profession ought to continue to regulate itself. A failure to do so would show that certain officials are above the law. And Tish got done lecturing us for 4 years about no. If James has engaged in fraud by deceiving her lenders, and it certainly looks like she has, the government to obtain benefits, she's engaged in professional misconduct and she is subject to discipline. Now, Bill Pulte's letter identifies her intentional misrepresentation through her own declaration that she intended to occupy the property in Virginia. And at the time she declared her intent to make that her principal residence, she was the Attorney General in New York. Now, additionally, the year before that, James made this declaration. She also ran for re-election in New York and won. After serving less than a year in her new term, unlikely she's going to move to Virginia. There's no public indication she ever intended to move there anyways. And the New York Constitution says you got to be living here in New York for 5 years if you're going to be the AG. It requires her to live there. If she occupied Virginia, she would have failed to continue being a New York resident and would have been ineligible to hold her office. So she couldn't have moved without forfeiting her position. So if James was intentionally deceptive about making the home in Virginia her principal residence, if she intended to do that, she violated the rules of professional conduct. And if she did that to save some money, then it goes to her honesty, her trustworthiness. It's a crime of financial gain, of turpitude, moral turpitude. And if the allegations are well-founded, then she's brought disrepute to the bar, which is true. She also takes her shoes off in court, as we know, which is disgusting. Additionally, Pulte's letter identifies her intentional misrepresentations through her repeated various mortgage applications or filings for government assistance, where she reduced the number of dwellings in a building she owns. If the building has 5 dwellings, as indicated in the actual certificate of occupancy, 4 dwellings, and her claims that it is 4 is fraudulent. It appears she has continued to make this misrepresentation to obtain financial benefits that she would not be entitled to. And Sam Antar went back through the records, and one of those buildings that she has, apparently it's a 3-story building. Abby Lowell said it was a 4-story building because he's an idiot, but it's a 3-story building. And then there were different family members living on each floor, allegedly. But on the second floor where Big Tish was living, there were 2 electrical hookups, meters there. And they were saying, well, why would you have 2 meters on one floor if there are not tenants living in there? Right? So it's in 2A and 2B. And James's actions meets the definition of fraud. So she's actually, even a 5-unit building, she's splitting up into other, subdividing it and maybe renting it out to Airbnb, or she's storing her Tish in one section and air conditioning it. We don't know. Miss James and her actions meet the definition of fraud as defined under the rules of professional conduct, probably violating those rules as well. So in conclusion, in this bar complaint drafted by a brilliant Nicholas R. Berry, thank you, Nicholas, for holding her accountable, says Tish, as the chief legal officer of New York, she ought to aspire to the highest ethical standards, right? It appears she has repeatedly traded in her integrity for a monetary benefit of deceiving lenders for personal enrichment. This harms the rule of law, brings disrepute to the profession, and her conduct, if it's true, it means she's failed to uphold the letter and the spirit of the law and the rules of professional conduct. And she should be investigated immediately to determine if these allegations are true, and if they are, impose the appropriate discipline for you, Tish. As James herself once previously explained, No matter how big, rich, or powerful you think you are, no one is above the law. Signed by Nicholas Berry with that absolute hole-in-one, right in the hole, final sentence. Well done there. From Nicholas Berry, Senior Litigation Counsel. No one is above the law. Tish, you're in trouble. So, fun filing there. America First Legal, shout out to them. We'll see. Tish is scrambling around. In another video here, we covered Abby Lowell, his response to the criminal referral, and Sam Antar, White Collar Fraud's response to Abby Lowell. And this case is going to get fun. So we'll be here continuing to cover it. Thanks for subscribing and joining as we do. All right, we got one more update, my friends. And then it's going to be time to hear from you. Let's see what this one is. Oh, yes. A Democrat launching impeachment efforts against President Trump, coming from this guy nobody has really ever heard of, called Congressman Shri Thanedar, who is a congressman over from Michigan. He's a proud Detroiter and other things. And he came in and he says, today we've had enough. Trump's attacks on due process, birthright citizenship, humanitarian aid, and the courts are not politics. They are a direct attack on our democracy. Okay, so in other words, everything that we just voted for that Trump is doing is an attack on our democracy, which isn't our democracy at all. It's the Democrats' democracy, since they control everything through the judges now. Now, he says, enough is enough. I'm introducing articles of impeachment against him. All right. So I haven't actually seen the articles yet. This dude posted a video. We'll listen to it. Some people are commenting on that thing on his head, whether that's a real piece of hair or not. But we'll watch this, just a little bit of it, not the full thing, just for posterity, so you can see what we're dealing with here, what kind of person this is and what he says. But let me show you more about who this individual is, because it's very curious. I hadn't heard about him, and there's some interesting things happening in our country right now where people are trying to kind of commandeer the normal political process through alternative means. This guy's one of them. He says here, we're going to go impeach the president. And we ask ourselves, where did this fella come from? So he became a U.S. citizen in 1988, actually was born in India. Oh, when his father was forced to retire, then he came over here and came to the U.S. in 1979, got his PhD, University of Akron, completed 1982. Then he became a citizen in 1988. So wasn't born in America, but like many other federal judges now in America, and now is dictating to us how to run America. I don't know why or how he got elected in Michigan, but now he's going to come out and lecture us about American democracy after being born in a foreign land, just like Judge Chutkin and just like many others. So then he came in, started working at some company in St. Louis, came in, made a bunch of money in pharmaceuticals, then lost a bunch of money in pharmaceuticals, lost everything, went into I think kind of bankruptcy or delinquency, sold some debt to Bank of America, and then was good. Yeah, something was placed in receivership and more. Then just decided to run for Congress, right? $15 minimum wage, public education reform, infrastructure improvements, and more. Ran for office, got notoriety, won the Democratic primary, big fan of John McCain, and then just kept winning. So the roughly $10.3 million his campaign spent was a lot more money to spend and more. Now he's taken some political positions too. And this was an interesting paragraph. So this is curious. Thanedar previously co-sponsored a resolution to halt aid to Israel. Whoa. Describing it as an apartheid state. Wow, that's a pretty bold statement, right? In the Michigan House of Representatives before he got elected up. Now, the next year, he faced opposition from AIPAC in his run for the United States House. So then he gets elected to the House. Then in the summer of 2023, he traveled to Israel on an AIPAC-affiliated trip, right? Comes back from the trip on return. He described the relationship all of a sudden between Israel and the United States as mutually beneficial. So, wow. Those AIPAC trips are persuasive, it sounds like. So it's originally an apartheid state, or how do you say it? Apartheid state. And now we're on good terms. wild. Like just one trip over there. Apartheid is apart together now. It's whatever. So October 10th then has renounced his membership as a socialist, and Moore was among 56 Democrats who directed Joe Biden to remove troops from Syria, ran for some other elections, personal life, wife died by suicide in 1996, and more. Okay, so this is the dude who's now going to come in and start articles of impeachment against the president. Okay, so that's him. Congressman Shri Thanedar. And here's just a snippet of what is in the articles. He didn't release the document that I've seen yet, the full articles, but he walks us through it. And listen to how actually embarrassing this whole thing is.
Article 4, violation of First Amendment rights. He has retaliated against journalists, attorneys, and critics for exercising their right to free speech. Article 5, creation of an unlawful office establishing the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and giving Elon Musk unconstitutional power over our government and personal data. Article 6, bribery and corruption. He has dismissed criminal cases and solicited payments from foreign governments and coerced legal settlements for personal and political gain. Article 7.
You got to pick up that
tyrannical
teleprompter.
Overreach.
Got to go faster.
Finally, and most importantly, he is attempting to consolidate unchecked power and erode the constitutional limits of the presidency. In this country, we have presidents, not kings. That's not
all right. Says the foreign-born Indian who can't hardly speak English. He's going to come over to our country and lecture us about democracy as he's impeaching our president in a speech that he can hardly read in English in America. Get out of here, man. All right. So he's going to do this articles of impeachment garbage. We'll see what the documents look like. The Democrats are getting desperate, man. And this is what they've got. So, all right. Yeah, keep coming. Yeah, file the articles. What a joke. So this is the Democratic Party. This is who they are. Let's not let him forget. All right. So, my friends, that is it for us on the day. Oh, and I forgot this meme for this guy. Do you think it's real? What do you think? Is it real or not? I don't know. All right. So funny stuff. All right. So my friends, what a beautiful day it's been. Now, I was expecting Trump to come out today, and I'm a little disappointed he didn't, but what can you do? Sometimes the president has to do presidential business. So we haven't seen him come out, but there were some new executive orders that dropped down today on it, but we will see what those were and see if there's anything worth commenting on tomorrow on those executive orders. I know he was supposed to be there in the Oval Office this afternoon, but we also got a day 100 coming up. That's like in 2 days, I think, pretty soon. But if you're just joining us, quick recap on what we talked about here today. We had a bunch of stuff that we talked about, including the big new arrest that has taken place. This dude is Mario. This dude was stealing purses all over Washington, D.C. Finally got nabbed when he did the old foot grab, the old foot little boop, 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 under the table. That was Kristi Noem's purse right there. Stolen. Buying illegal. Learned about him. Learned about illegal number 2. Both these people just kind of hanging out in America, just stealing stuff. Not anymore. They're going to be fueted out of here and hopefully charged with crime. So we talked a lot about that. We read through a bar complaint that has now been filed against Letitia James in New York. We'll see if the state bar does anything over there. Probably won't hold your breath on that one. And then we talked about this dude, Shri Thanedar, who's going to be impeaching President Trump from the House. Obviously, it's a joke. They don't have the House. They don't have the Senate. And they don't have anybody competent to do anything really meaningful in their party. So we're not worried about it, but it is a joke. That's really what it comes down to. But now, my friends, it is time to hear from you. And let's see what you say about all of this. It's a beautiful Monday. I hope your week is off to a great start and you're bursting with energy, accomplishing everything you've set your mind to. Let's see who's joining us on the day. And I see some great donos. Thank you for sending these in. And thanks for becoming a membo and joining up for our members only morning streams. And here was one from this morning, Repo Man. What's up, Repo Man? Sent this one in late. Thank you, Repo Man. Love the show. And thank you, K-Bean, for clipping for us. And we saw those come in this morning too. Hey, this is Deluxe Knight, our farmer. He's back on his feet. Your prayers helped, my friends. Thanks for praying for him. He's back on his feet, doing well. 90 to 95% mobility from this morning. Awesome stuff. And Mark, any updates on that wonderful judge and that nice mugshot? Oh yeah, Judge Dugan. No, not yet. I checked the docket today. I cannot wait for the next Judge Dugan update. It's going to be great. Hey, Voice of the People. Should have YouTube's redirect feature fixed and Rumble raids if you want to see how it works. So we'll do that today, Voice. We'll definitely do YouTube. I don't know how to do the other one. Let me see. Are you live right now? We'll definitely do YouTube, but I don't know how to do Rumble at the moment. But I'm looking for off label. So you better be live when it's time. All right, we'll do it when you're. I think I can figure it out. We'll see if, but I don't see right now. Elena Noble says, "Love when you explain all the legal lingo." That was from this morning. Thank you, Alana, for saying that. Thanks for being here 1 month. 1 month, the first month's the hardest. Gets easier from there. Oh, is it tomorrow? All right. Well, we'll try to. We're going to get better about that. We're going to try to, send you guys to some cool places. Because why not? What's up, Patrick C? What's up, Patrick C? Welcome aboard, Patrick. Grab the members only stream from this morning. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. We're going to have a great stream tomorrow. David D, a mortgage and insurance professional, went to Tish's apartment and did a video. The building has 5 doorbells and 5 electric meters. She's a crook. Yeah. Yeah, we saw that. 5 electric meters. What's that for? And we didn't know if she was storing her Tish in room 2B with full air conditioning 24/7. We don't know. But she might need it. Mach Schnell, what's up? It needs a cooling system, that thing, Mach Schnell, what's up? Brewing is here. What's up? Johnny will do it. Thank you, Mach Schnell, for bringing in 20 new members. Whistle Stop Cafe, what's up? Chris Schaffer. Patriot 1111 in the house, just lurking, is here. Mike S. Pablo Concepcion. We got JS is here. Rohan, what's up, Mr. Pastulio? Leon Lately. Ryan Cheek. Melissa Coxon. What's up, Jeff Larson? Arlene Anderson. We got Paul D. Bimmer Vibes. Welcome aboard W7 Woodworking. William Bolick, all gifted membos, courtesy of Mach Schnell in the house. Thank you to Mach Schnell for bringing them in. Hey, former LEO says, back in the day, we would arrest and charge suspects for concealing identity by wearing a mask during a commission of a crime. The law's still in the books. The People's Republic of California, but I don't know if the DA would charge this during the lawless period in California. That's interesting. Yeah, so it's like almost like an aggravating charge or an aggravating factor, right? So it would be like if you put a mask on while robbing a bank, like it would be an added element with it, which is like a concealment element to make it worse. He's using the COVID mask, like, oh, protecting myself, but it's actually concealing. It's like masked robbery is what it is. But you're just falsifying it as though it's protection. Yeah, we know. Also, this wouldn't fit the requirements for a robbery charge because no force or fear or from the person was used. Just appears to be grand theft by trick or device. Yeah, so you can play a lot with these. And I think every state uses different words, but, robbery, burglary, theft, false pretenses. You spent a lot of time in law school. What's the difference between false pretenses and larceny? And then you get into the criminal statutes like theft and robbery and burglary. Whereas like robbery might be during the day, but burglary might be at night. Burglary is breaking and entering while committing a felony. Robbery might imply some force, where theft might imply no force. But you could still say, I think by using this like the colloquial definition of robbery, you could say that Kristi Noem was robbed. Now, not to her face, but like if I've been robbed, like my wallet, I've been robbed, kind of a thing. One of those. But I get your point. You can really get into the weeds on that stuff. Great law school questions on that and bar exam questions too. Hey, what's up? BG, how is it that a district judge can tell Homeland and DOD how to do their jobs? In many ways, they can't. Yeah. If we're being invaded, like we have been, do we have to wait till some clown judge in Massachusetts to tell DOD what to do? Get out of here, says BG. I feel you on that, BG. And I feel the emotion in that one, man. Yeah, so not really, right? That's kind of the point. And Trump is digging in and fighting back, maximum wingspan and pushing back against the executive. Basically just saying the deportations are happening. We're just using alternative powers, independent powers, and they're not letting up. So the judges are trying everything they can, and Trump is persevering. So hang tight. I think a lot of it's going to get sorted out ultimately in the end. Doan, what's up, Doan? Says Secret Service is dropping a lot of balls lately. Yeah. Yeah, they're dropping a lot of things. Slope floors and leg sweeps. It's like advanced movements for the Secret Service. They should just go hang out with some high school boys for about 2 minutes and they'll figure it out. Chubby, what's up? There's a very obvious reason we common folk have no idea what the Secret Service does, because it's secret. The name says it all. I'm 51 today. I think I'm allowed one bad joke. It's not bad. It's not that bad, Chubby. What does the Secret Service do? I don't know. Why not? Because it's secret. It's not bad. It's not bad, Chubby. We can work on it. It's not bad. But happy birthday, man. Is today your birthday? 51? Happy birthday to Chubby in the house. Good to see that, Chubby. 51, man. You look good. 51. We met. You look great, man. What's up? That's good to see you. Happy birthday, man. Hopefully it's a beautiful birthday. You're doing something fun. Rub some dirt on it. It's a great joke. It's an amazing joke. Happy birthday. Rub some dirt on it, aka Whirlpool, our astrophotographer, one of them. All right, let's be honest. If the U.S. Secret Service was drawing down on every man who looked too long on Kristi Noem, their guns would never be in their holsters. So everybody's just like staring at Kristi. Like she's like, well, she's so hot, you know. All the Secret Service dudes are just like, man, she's hot. And like people are just stealing from her like left and right. She's like, hello. He's stealing my purse. Hello. Oh yeah. Gotta do our jobs. Thank you for that, Whirlpool. Fred Petamonte says he's a pro. He's done it hundreds of times. LV, not Gucci. That was a Louis Vuitton, not a Gucci. Or I don't know my handbags. But yeah, he's got that leg sweep down. He must like get the remote from the couch in like no time. Just Me says, okay, let me get this straight. They can track a purse snatcher on cameras all over DC, but they can't catch a pipe bomber. Why am I not shocked? That is such a good comment, Just Me. I'm mad I didn't think about it. Yeah, it's amazing. They followed him everywhere. They got that guy's nose hairs dialed in. But the pipe bomber who planted 2 pipe bombs in Washington, D.C. near some of the biggest buildings in the whole city. We got like 1 frame per second. It's like pipe bombers moving like this. Gone. Right? Where is he? And then the cell phone data is all corrupted too. Do you know why? It's because it was Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. They did it. It's a great comment, Just Me. Way to call it out. Mikhail, what's up, Mikhail Heim? Hey, I'm glad Mario was caught, but it's comical that he's an international criminal. I'm going to be waiting for another Catch Me If You Can type movie. Yeah, except this one's going to involve like a drunk illegal alien, like who's got pasta sauce all over him. You know, be like a John Candy movie or something, except they give him like a little Latino mustache or something and make him an alcoholic with lasagna. Yeah, I think that'd be a good one. Just bumbling around. Secret Service trying to find him. Where is he? He's coming out with a burrito. Hey, Doan, what's up? I'm where using your PIN for debit card purchases is optional. So now any Tom, Dick, and Harry can use it? That makes me so mad. Is that true? Can you do that? I feel like I always put my PIN in. Or I guess now you can just tap stuff, right? Like if I can just tap it, I guess you don't even need a PIN, right? Because there's the taps now that you don't do. Do you do pins on the taps? I feel like you do. Don't you tap it and still do a pin? Tap it. I feel like I still do a pin. I don't know. I think so. Former LEO. So how is he using it? Just running it as credit? The Secret Service has become a bad joke because, like, did he use the self-checkout? Was he going through the probably the self-checkouts? Yeah, it was a self-checkout. We saw the pictures. It was self-checkout. So he's probably just running his credit. So maybe they should start over utilizing 60-year-olds plus retired LEOs. I know that if I carried retired Secret Service ID, I would be embarrassed to present it to any real law enforcement officer. We are doomed as a society if we can't even provide protection for cabinet officers. I mean, I got to agree with that. I don't know how that dude even got into that room. The fact that he was sitting across the table and could reach his leg out is wild to me. Like he could have lunged at her and stabbed her in the head. It's crazy. What's up, Rob? or shot her right in the chest, right? I mean, it's wild to think about that. Hey, what's up, Rob? Secret Service did not see the leg move because they were probably busy staring at Kristi Noem's legs or up or higher. Congressman, why weren't you watching for suspicious activity? I was paying attention to her. I was watching the target. I was very intently, a little too intently. BG, hey, 34-page indictment written up and filed when the crime happens to the elite. Meantime, still waiting for the cops to show up for my stolen truck. Yeah, no, they don't care, man. As long as the illegal is stealing everybody else's crap, it's your problem. Your stolen truck, probably illegal. Maybe it's that guy. Maybe Mario took your truck. No one cared about it back then. But yeah, suddenly it's Secret Service involvement when it's somebody big. How long was that guy allowed to just ransack Washington? It's sick. One old guy's opinions. Mario es un bad word. It's true. Don Goff, I've been saying it's not the Secret Service's job to watch for thieves. I looked it up. I was wrong. It is their job. They screwed up bigly. Yeah, isn't like a big part of what they do is counterfeiting? So like literally, like if you're stealing money, it's like you're not supposed to be like doing that. They're supposed to be especially protecting our VIPs, and they did not do that at all. One old guy's opinion says, wonder if anyone has told Mario there is no honor among thieves. Yeah, and he calls the cops. How much money did he waste of police time complaining about his theft, which it sounds like he was actually racially profiling 5 black guys, which is racist. Tag, Bustamante is the smartest, stupidest thief. Yeah, it'd be like one of those like sitcoms where he's just constantly like getting away with stuff. It's like, how'd you get away with that? Where'd you get this new Lamborghini? It's like, oh, Mario. Whoa. I don't know. Me gusta, new Lamborghini. Hey, Chubby Stubby, now I finally understand why all my teachers would scold and stop me from playing footsie in school. They must have known it was the secret technique used to only thwart law enforcement. It would have been a slippery slope in my formidable years. Thanks, Miss Kinzinger. Yeah, Miss Kinzinger. No relation to Adam. Sounds like a very nice teacher. They know what's up. They know. One old guy says, Mario is an international man of being a jerk. Oh, behave, baby. That's a little Austin Powers stuff. Where do the bag lifters do their time? That's a good question. I mean, I think they'll probably be prosecuted right there in D.C. And I don't know what they're going to do with them. But I think CCOP might be a good location. One old guy's opinions. The media says the canned buzzwords supposed arrested in their little media pieces. A lot of the time you'll hear them say things like allegedly, right? Just to kind of, allegedly charged with allegedly doing the thing. Yeah, Mikhail Heim says Trump is keeping promises. He's keeping families together. Right. If the mom's being deported, you want the child to go with mom so that family is unified. He loves them. Doan, Zenas failed to enjoin the DOD to her order and specifically enjoined Homeland when there were no Homeland personnel on the plane with Kilmar. What are the implications of this? Well, I think actually the DOD is saying that they're not bound by her order. I think the DOD is still carrying out deportations under the AEA. I think I just came across that. I haven't seen that in the filings yet, but we'll probably come back on Zenas and others tomorrow. I think we've got some stuff scheduled on that one. That's the Kilmar case. But yeah, the DOD, we're not bound by your order. Doesn't apply to us. One old guy says those kids will have to come back by the age of 18 to keep their U.S. citizenship, just like Bruce Lee did. Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco and returned to the U.S. to keep his citizenship at the age of 18. I had no idea. Bruce Lee did that. Mikhail, what's up? Says Democrats and their flying monkeys have been deliberately abandoning Americans, telling us we don't matter. We're the neglected child. They're replacing us with the new golden child. And it appears to be that is their key constituency now. It's like the only thing that they're fighting for are illegal aliens. It's been their key message over this last month. It's wild. Leonard, thank you, Mikhail. Leonard, Democrats let in millions of illegals without vetting. Now they want a lengthy court process for each illegal. Their intent is to jam up the system. Yeah, you open the floodgates in, and then you put up the circuit breaker on the way out. Speed bumps and traps and nets to prevent them going out. And one way you can do that is legally, by just saying they're all entitled to Article 3 courts, which they're not. And that's their whole game. Doan says Dugan, which is the judge who tried to escort the illegal out of her courtroom, acted on the premise that a judicial warrant was required to grab Ruiz when it wasn't. We're dealing with complete morons. Yeah, that mugshot from her came out the other week, and she's looking like she's having some serious regrets. I don't know what that was. I think she was just inspired by an AOC speech or something. Sheila Pooh, hey, says Stephen Miller is the GOAT, maybe. Speaking to the moron, MSM Journos. He is good, yeah. That was really good. And I feel like he's getting better, a little bit more grounded, almost talking to them like they're just like children, like educating them in a way. It's good. Hey, Melanie. Thank you, Melanie, for the very nice dono. Thank you for all you do, Melanie. Thank you, Melanie, for supporting us. We could not do it without you. I'm really grateful you're here. And thanks for supporting us today. Happy Monday to you. We got Doan says, at least Stanky Feet Tish gets the top bunk if it holds. You know, I don't know about that. You're going to need like, I don't know, 4x4s, not 2x4s, 4x4s at least. What's up, Colleen Page? Every trial she was on should be overturned. I don't think Tish did a lot, actually, but yeah, I mean, any, especially the Trump stuff, right, where she came out and had like an active investment in it. Then I agree. Thanks, Colleen, for being a member for 3 months. Hey, Tortuga Chick, is it telling me how to properly pronounce Norfolk? But I can't say that word on a live stream. That's an illegal stream, so that's a legal word here. Thank you, Tortuga Chick. Norfolk is how you don't say it. One old guy. I, Tish, and my sour-smelling, crusty bunions, what? Will reside in this residence. Yeah. In apartment 2B? Yeah. Mikhail Heim says, hey, finally someone's going to the bar. It is good to see that. Yeah, I mean, they came after everybody's law license after Trump. They arrested Trump's lawyers. Okay, so just chill out. Alana, what's up? Alana Nobel. How long will it take the New York Appeals Court to make a decision against the Tish James case? It's a good question. We're all waiting for it. I have not seen it yet. If I've missed it, somebody saw it, please alert me to it. But I don't think it's come out yet. I don't know what the standard is there, but I mean, those oral arguments were like 6 months ago, maybe longer. Do you think the New York Appeals Court is waiting for Tish to dismiss the charges? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think Tish is going to do anything voluntarily. Because if she loses in the Court of Appeals, she'll take it up to the Supreme Court. And like, she's not done yet. But it's been a while. It's been a while. I don't know how long the standard is, but it's been a while. Hey, Dona's here. Says Tish was filing tenant complaints against herself. I know, this was wild. We read this on Saturday, and apparently she's a slumlord, right? She's got a disgusting building filled with paint peeling off the walls, the tenants were saying, filing complaints. And so if she's living there with her family, why is she complaining against herself? Or her brother's complaining, or somebody is. Tish's cases should be reviewed for malfeasance. Yeah, basically, I think most of New York should as well. Thank you, Don. What's up, Granny Joe? Hey, 14 months, Granny Joe. Thanks for being here. Over 1 full year. Says, welcome to a beautiful new week. It is. It's going to be jamming. I can feel it. Mikhail says, isn't there an assistant AG or something who would finalize out Tish's term if she can't complete it because of something like disbarment? Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's always going to be somebody who's going to slot in there. I don't know who it is or what their reputation would be or anything like that, but the people, elected her, basically. It's the same reason why nothing happened with Fannie. Fannie got reelected. They loved it. They want more Fannie there in Georgia. So she could be removed. Or the other thing, like the other interesting thing is to ask, what's going to happen to these judges? Are they going to voluntarily resign, recuse themselves from certain cases, or what are they going to do? One judge resigned already, but the other judge. So when you come under scrutiny, it's interesting to see what people do. Hey, one old guy says, New York State Bar Association can censure her. Then after leaving office, she can lose her license like the Clintons did. Mikhail, what's up, Mikhail Heim? Hey, thank you for answering my question. You guys are great. That's why we're here, Mikhail. Thank you for sending the donos in, my man. Appreciate the donos. Hey, what's up, Greer? What's up, Harold Greer is bringing in 5 new friends. Thank you, Greer. It's a nice Greer cat. We got Doc Brining is here. Aaron Rodriguez, welcome. Stephen 005, Chris D, and Frank Philippus gifted membos, courtesy of Harold Greer. Thank you, Harold, for bringing in 5 new membos. One old guy's opinions says, Thanedar looks like a turtle wearing a wig. Yeah, I think that's true. And what number is Phi? F-I? It's a good question. 50? I don't know. What's up? 200 Watt Studio says Jimmy Farron for 7-Eleven. Jimmy Farron for 7-Eleven. All right, all right. We got Doan Burrill says, funny, Trump gets impeached by Cheech Marin. I know, it's amazing. Who can hardly speak English. Hey, Mikhail Heim, every political and should have a basic understanding of our founding documents to serve, and especially our language. Ahem, Xanthadar. Yeah, I agree. This is America. What's up, Clark Blount? We're laying on the so-called xenophobia here pretty thick today, but it's irritating. What's up, Clark Blount? Peach up in peach and smoke. Up in peach and smoke. Up in peach and smoke. Like impeachment, something. Good to see you, Clark. Happy Monday. 200-watt studio. I hear that Jimmy Fallon's show is at 7 and 11. Sounds like a great stream. He's got 2 streams. Awesome. Scott J, what's up? Thank you, Scott, for the dono. Appreciate you. Hey, Mikkel. Hey, sending some love. You're 1,000 closer to the 4,000 needed to get to 500K. We're so close to 500K. Thanks for subscribing. And if you don't subscribe to our channel, then I know that just means you hate me. It's okay. Hey, XSSFD Lieutenant says New York State is really F. The New York State Constitution specifies that the Attorney General, no legal qualification requirement, while a law degree and experience is not required. Is not required. Hey, we got somebody watching on Twitch right now. Setsma System. What's up? Sedimza Zo1. What's up? We have somebody watching on Twitch right now. Huh? That's pretty cool. What's up, man? You want to be a mod over there? I don't think we have anything mod worthy, but you know, we could use a mod over there, I guess. Sheila Poo. Hey, what's up? Hey, and Lieutenant. Yeah, so I didn't know that about Tish. So you can be the Attorney General in New York without a law degree. Is that real? That's incredible. She might as well not have a law degree. I don't know anything that she's done, actually, legally speaking. I don't think she's done anything substantive as a lawyer, honestly. Her team did, and it was terrible. She just sat in the back and did nothing. Hey, at least Fanny went up there and like sat on the bench. Sheila Poo says, Journeys, stream. Show your attention by hitting that like button. Share this channel with everyone you know and subscribe if you can do it. We would appreciate if you did all those things. And thank you, Sheila Poo, for the great reminders. Kat McC, 4 months as a membo, Kat. 5 months more, we'll have a full baby time here. Thank you, Kat, for being a membo here and supporting us for 4 full months. George Garbanzo, the U.S. Secret Service seems to be as adept as Boris and Natasha chasing Bullwinkle and Rocky. Yeah, well, we don't know. You know, those floors did look a little bit wobbly there in that burger joint. Secret Service was like, I don't know. Does that look like 2-degree angle to you? It does look a little over 2, so we probably should call our supervisor. Well, maybe we should just get the walker out from the back of the cruiser, and we can walk up there. I don't know. We should probably call Cash Patel. Hey, what's up? 200-watt studio. Jimmy Fallon is the guy at 7-Eleven that takes your winning lotto ticket and says it's not a winner and then tries to keep it. Oh, I'm not sure who that is. Well, and it is a winner, I think is what you're saying. So he's trying to thieve away your winning lotto ticket. Yeah. What's going on? One old guy's opinion says 5 bells and 5 electrical meters for her crusty feet. It's true. And her butt, I think, too, in 2B. Mikkel Heim. Hey, Mikkel. Thanks for bringing in 10 new membos. What's up? Mikkel's bringing in 10 more. David Carleon. What's up, PK from AK? What's up, Digitalis? Pistol Pete is here. Maharussi. Movable Feast. Melissa Archero Dur. What's up, Chris Blanchard? Killa Kool-Aid. Alexa Cook. All gifted membos. Thank you for bringing them in here, Mikkel. We appreciate it. Welcome 10 new friends. We'll see you tomorrow on the member stream. Chubby. Is that Indian guy a yogi? Because those articles are quite the stretch. He must be a great yoga instructor. Oh, that was good. Yeah, he might be a yogi because Article 7 was a stretch, right? Never going to get that through. Well done, Chubby. Good one. That more than makes up for the other one about the Secret Service. You've totally redeemed yourself. What's up, Sharpie guy? No matter how much you dislike the mainstream media and the Dems, in my opinion, y'all can't dislike, hate them, or enough. Rob, do you keep your law license up to date? Oh, yeah, of course I do. 2 states, baby, Arizona and California. Pay a lot of money for that. I worked hard for that, dang it. So, yeah, keep them up. It's true. Hey, what's up, Dan? Regarding Tishy, there were 6 meters for electric services, not just 5. Is that right? I think that's right, because there was one for the common area. So I think it was 6. So it was like 5 units and a 6 for the common hallway area and all the things. Hey, what's a great question? Call me legend. I Hey, Rob, when is your next public event? That is a great question. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. What's coming up? What should we do? Where should we do it? I think we're due up for like an East Coast thing. And it would be fun to go out there. I'd like to go out there and say what's up to Viva and those dudes. And, that'd be fun. So I'm thinking, but nothing set in stone. I don't know. We need an excuse to do something. Like, is there an inauguration happening again? What's going on? Thank you for asking about it. Call me legend. I don't know. Open to suggestions. Real with Robo. What's up? Happy birthday to my son, Cody. He's 18 and loves your show. Hey, happy birthday, Cody. Man, 18, listening to this show. That's awesome. Thanks for checking in on it. I think man, it's important. These are important issues to be even experiencing and learning about at such, I think, a young age. Although 18 is not that young, but I think it's good, man. So shout out to Cody. Happy birthday, Cody. Really glad that you're listening to our show. Hopefully you're doing something amazing today, celebrating with your fam and getting lots of love. Happy birthday to you. 18 is amazing, man. You're an adult. Hey, Mikhail, what's up? LOL. Now we know why the Secret Service didn't catch the thief. They couldn't keep their eyes in their head. Yeah, the Secret Service has had some bad stories. Like, remember during the Obama administration when they were banging those Brazilian hookers or whatever? Old lady. Hey, old lady, we're going to continue to send some love to your son. Prayers for old lady's boy. Son is continuing to heal. Sending love and prayer his way. Thank you, old lady. Jennifer says OLP is live right now. So Off Label is live. Let me figure out how I can do this. See if this will populate. Doing a quick search and not seeing it. All right. So I don't know what's going on, but we'll take a look at it in a second. Thank you, Jennifer. So they're live. All right, cool. What's up? Deluxe Night. Hey, thanks. My mobility return. Ready for step 2 on the 4th of July. Sweet corn, baby. It's called the Dammer Diker. We apply fertilizer on each side of the corn row while ripping a dike between them, which is like a trough for water. All right. Something like that. Followed by a paddle wheels poking dams in the dike. It is an irrigation erosion control with mechanical weed control between each row, covering 10 rows, pass across the field. Great shows today. The Watcher fam is amazing. Man, that's true, Deluxe Night. You're a part of it, brother. Look at this, man. This is our farmer in the house. Feeding all of us. Wild machinery. Super cool. All right, we'll zoom in on these. Yeah, man, shout out to our farmers. So much goes into feeding us, and often it's easy to take it for granted. But we appreciate our farmers out there. Awesome. Deluxe Night, glad you're moving again, man. Glad you're feeding us. Shout out to 4th of July sweet corn. Ooh, it's going to be good. All right, Deluxe Night in the house. We love our farmers here. Thanks for feeding us. We need the food. Hey, Mikhail, I meant to say politician and judges in the confusing post. Sorry, I have seizures. Mikhail, I think we got it. Did we miss? I don't know why Secret Service didn't catch the thief. They couldn't keep their eyes in their head. Yeah, well, I think, Mikhail, I think we got it. I think all your posts have been right on the point. Sorry about the seizures, but glad you're able to join us. And for sending some love our way. We appreciate that. Hey, S. Quinn says, I wish the White House would put up pics of the Dems next to the illegal they're cheerleading for and have it say, I did that. Yeah, put up a Kilmar photo, right? MS-13, and all the MS-13 people are connected to Kilmar, and Van Hollen can say, I did that. Yeah, that's me. And they'll let them all in. No doubt about that. Hey, no, I got that. Yeah, S. Quinn. I meant to say next to the signs on the lawn. Yeah, I think we inferred that. Thank you, S. Quinn, for the follow-up on that. Clark Blount. Rob, you need to watch more movies. It puts the lotion on its skin. Silence of the Lambs, Up in Smoke, Cheech and Chong. That was an album also. I mean, I'm familiar with Cheech and Chong. I don't think I could watch a Cheech and Chong movie. Like, you want me to sit down and watch a whole movie of that? What do they do in it? Is there a plot? I'm familiar with them, but I've never seen a movie. Up in Smoke, I don't think I've seen. Silence of the Lambs, that was Anthony Hopkins, right? Pretty sure I've seen that one, and that was with Jodie Foster. That was, yeah, those are good. There's a whole sequence of those, but I think you're right, Clark. Although I don't like most movies. I mean, most of them are pretty crap, so it's probably not going to happen. But thanks for the encouragement, Clark. We'll see. What's up, S. Quinn? Thank you for that. Boopsie. Hey, don't forget, July 4th next year will be epic, so save your money. Oh, yeah, but that's next year. Yeah. Yeah, maybe next year we do a July 4th mega meetup to celebrate America's 250th. Ho, ho! That's a pretty good idea, although it's a ways away, but we could go big. Hey, Deluxe Night. Happy 18th to Cody. Happy 18th birthday, Cody, from our farmer in the house. That's a good one. Hey, East Coast trip to Mar-a-Lago. I looked it up. I was like, can you just rent a room in Mar-a-Lago? I'm like, can I just rent a room? Like, how much does it cost to just like pay to rent it? Not to be invited, but like to pay to rent it. And it's like, we don't rent you rooms here. You have to be invited, you little peasant. I'm like, oh, that's good to know. That's what happens when you have no idea what the hell you're doing. So it's true. You can't just go rent a room. You've got to actually be somebody. Whatever that is. Spuds, hey, regarding Tish, she may not get disbarred, but this scandal may help the New York DNC kick her to the curb since she's up for re-election in 26. I don't know about that. I think New York loves Tish, Spuds. Although you're up there, so maybe you see something different, but I don't know. I mean, if she gets prosecuted, they'll probably vote for her by 90%. Like she's attacked by Trump. She'll probably make a couple $1 million in campaign donos. Scott J, what's up? Says, look what happened to the UK by its elected immigrants who refused to immigrate. English should be a requirement at minimum, and the U.S. history. Yeah, look, I understand, having an affinity for immigrants and wanting our country to accept good people and to be like this, nice country and who helps other people. I get all that. But when foreigners come in and then issue nationwide injunctions and then lecture us about democracy, or and then come and impeach our presidents and then lecture us about dictators, I get offended about that. And I don't know exactly why that is. I should probably explore that. But I think it's because people who were born yesterday who are not natively a part of the American culture from the beginning coming in and telling you what to do. Yeah, I think that's just kind of rude. It feels rude to me. So anyways, all right. So my friends, thank you so much for sending those donos in and supporting us. Welcome new members. We have great members only streams. If you're on the fence about joining us, we had a great stream this morning. We're going to have a great stream tomorrow, and we would love to have you come over and join us, because we get to a bunch of other stuff that we can't quite get to here. And so let's also say hello to our friends on X on the day and see who's over there before we wrap it up, and go over to Locals, watchingthewatchers.locals.com. Here's a nice GIF on the day. We got him. There it is, from Twiggy McStumpwizzle in the house. What's up, Tiff Dog? Hey, thank you, Tiff Dog. Watch your videos daily. Thanks for the great content. Thank you, Tiff Dog. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate you watching every day and supporting us. What's up, Mischief MAGA? It's amazing how quiet it got about that illegal sent back to El Salvador. The Dems have moved on to their new flavor of the day. Yeah, that did happen pretty quickly, didn't it? They dropped Kilmore like a hot potato, like a hot bag of fentanyl. What's up, Fred Pedamonte? The reason for all the white collars, if he ever got caught, he'd be known as a white collar criminal. But Fred Pedamonte, well done. James Pepper. Trump should get out there and say, if you come into our country illegally, we will force you into gender reassignment surgery, and then we'll deport you. So if you come in as Mario, you leave as Maria. Yeah, that might change some things. I don't think they're into that, like the blue-haired leftists are. All right, so those were some great comments that came in over on X. Thank you for sending all of those in, my friends. Yeah, Kilmore, flavor of the month, right, Doan? Good to see you, Nunya Bitness. Great to see you, my friends. Thanks for sending these in. Yeah, well, they realized he was a wife-beating MS-13 gangbanger who was human trafficking people in other convicted human traffickers' vehicles, was stopped by the FBI, released, and is clearly part of a criminal gang. And everybody knew that. His wife was covering it up. They all lied to the Democrats. They all got taken advantage of. I hope that they do not, that the American people recognize what this was and do not forget about it. And there should be more discovery on that. Like, that case is still developing. So we'll see what that looks like this week. No doubt about it. But my friends, all right, so we'll leave it there on the week. Thank you for joining us on this amazing Monday. I hope your week is off to an amazing start. You're bursting with energy, ready to tackle the week ahead. Before we wrap it up on the day, let's say hello to our mods and meme smiths who mod the fort down for us and keep things oh so nice and beautiful around here. Our friends Donut Mind Me, Carrie B, K Bean, Playin' Hooky, Dog Digger, and Janek. We got Geegum Geegum, Just Rhonda, and Elliot, our Doc Master and Poet Master, making things nice and beautiful around here. We're grateful for everybody for being here. Thank you for watching and for joining us. And of course, my friends, we're going to pause here for the evening, but we're coming back tomorrow. And when we return, we are going to need to see you right back here so that together with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. Make it a beautiful night, my friends. Sleep very well. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.